to manage. This came about after President Trump settled a lawsuit with the IRS. The money is supposed to go to people who claim they were targeted by the Justice Department. Critics say this fund is corrupt and could pay rioters who assaulted police at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. The federal judge has set a hearing on the matter for June 12. A Russian drone has crashed in Romania near the Ukrainian border, injuring people on the ground. Terry Schultz reports NATO and the European Union are blaming Moscow for the overnight incident.
The armed drone crashed into an apartment building in the eastern city of Galati overnight, and Romanian authorities say it caused a fire when the payload exploded. At least 2 people were hurt. Romania's president called it an unprecedented event. While Russian drones have flown into Romania before, it's the first time since Russia launched its full-scale war on Ukraine that one has hit a densely populated area. The Romanian Foreign Ministry says it's asked NATO to send more counter-drone capabilities. Alliance spokeswoman Alison Hart says NATO condemns Russia's recklessness and will continue to strengthen our defenses. European Council President Antonio Costa says the European Union condemns in the strongest terms this violation of Romania's national airspace and of international law. For NPR News, I'm Terry Schultz in Brussels.
A court in Kenya has temporarily suspended the setup of an Ebola quarantine facility in that country. The U.S. has a role in the proposed center. Michael Kaloki reports from Nairobi, Kenya.
In an order issued late Thursday, Kenya's High Court said that the country was not allowed to admit anyone exposed to or infected by Ebola under an agreement between Kenya and the U.S. for the establishment of a quarantine facility locally. The court was responding to a case brought before it by the rights group, the Katiba Institute, challenging the setup of the quarantine site. The White House had earlier said the U.S. was setting up a facility in Kenya where Americans who had been exposed to Ebola would be quarantined, adding that those exhibiting symptoms of the disease would be moved to a third country. The Kenya High Court said its order suspending plans for the quarantine facility will remain in force until the case before it is finalized. For NPR News, I'm Michael Kaluki in Nairobi.
On Wall Street, the Dow is higher. It's up about 150 points. You're listening to NPR News.
Good morning. With the latest from the GBH newsroom in Boston, I'm Craig Lamolt. The Massachusetts Senate will provide State Auditor Diana Zaglio with financial information she's been seeking as part of her long-running bid to audit the legislature. Senators adopted a resolution to release the documents. At the same time, the resolution also questioned the constitutionality of the voter-approved audit. Senator Cindy Friedman says she hopes the move shows voters that the Senate takes their concerns seriously.
And that we are public in how we spend our money, and that there's nothing hidden, and that there is, what we're trying to do is ensure that there's trust between the public and the government.
Leaders in the Massachusetts House say they won't take a similar step, but instead plan on passing what they describe as a comprehensive transparency legislation. The Healey administration released public guidance on Thursday on how to interact with ICE on state property and at sensitive sites like schools. Governor Maura Healey said the guidance comes after the Trump administration has ignored repeated requests about immigrants that have been detained.
I wish we didn't have to be here today to continue to defend our residents from unlawful and harmful actions by federal agents. But the Trump administration and ICE have shown no signs of changing course.
The guidance includes advice to hospital staff when a detained person arrives with agents and recommendations for school staff if ICE officers show up. The Trump administration has detained thousands of immigrants in Massachusetts, including over 600 at local courthouses last year. Increasing clouds today, highs in the 70s. This is GBH.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Lilly Endowment, a private foundation supporting NPR's coverage of religion and spirituality, and Jarl and Pamela Mohn, focusing on civil liberties, foster youth, public radio, and the arts.
Listen to PPR and GBH and NEPM, Jim Brady and Marjorie Egan. We are broadcasting live from the Boston Public Library and streaming at youtube.com. Thank you, /GBH News. We're going to be joined on Tuesday back here at the library from 11 to noon by Governor Maura Healey taking our questions. She won't be asking any questions.
She might. You never know, Marjorie.
But mostly it's going to be our questions and your questions. Good morning, Jim.
Hey there. Can I just say one thing? I am assuming the audience's expectation, if they listen to the NPR news at the top of the show, where they were saying Trump just posted on Truth Social minutes ago, critical moment in the negotiations, the Iranians have to agree, no nuclear weapons. He's going on his way to the Situation Room. The reason we're not starting the show with that is there's not been one truthful word out of Trump's mouth about this war. If something factually happens during the show, we will, of course, bring that to you right away. Is that fair?
That's not the only reason, Jim.
Okay.
I can't take a lot of it.
Well, I understand that. Oh, and by the way, one other little programming note. You just heard legislators at the State House saying they're going to start releasing something in response to the 72% of the people who voted for question 1. That was the auditing of the legislature. We will have the auditor with us on next Friday's show, and why that's significant, is my understanding, is what the Senate has graciously agreed to give to the auditor is already public. So they've made a hell of a concession. In any case, here's what we will talk about. It seems the American party years are over. Nearly half of Americans, 48%, now say their lives lack fun. And 60% of them say it's because they're broke. That same survey cites gas and restaurant prices. 12% of respondents can't even remember the last time they had a free day to enjoy themselves. And that's not just Marjorie's staff complaining about my constant neediness. It's not for lack of things to do. We're going to discuss these today. In Massachusetts, for example, a debranded Gillette Stadium, it's going to be called Boston Stadium, will host the World Cup games mid-June. Tall ships are coming mid-July. And, of course, it's America 250, although 2 local communities, Framingham and Rutland, have just canceled their July 4th fireworks because of cost. So here's the question. How are you handling the costs of doing anything fun? What are your tips and tricks for having frugal fun this summer? And that's assuming you are having fun. Are you? The number is 877-301-8970 to call or text. Is the party over in the USA in 2026? Are you having fun? Are you having fun?
I'm having fun.
It's a straight question.
I'm
you
having
having fun?
because I got in the housing market years ago, and I have a decent
God,
job.
in the housing market.
Well, that's a big deal to people. That's
you having fun?
Did you read this headline in the Globe this morning?
What was
this
it?
This really got my day off to a good start.
Which headline?
The next recession could be a middle-class massacre.
No, that was upbeat. That was a good start.
Well, that's swell. I mean, and it goes on about how half of Americans can't afford basic living. That means they can't afford their food, their home, their rent. Their
That's why they say they're having no fun.
Yeah. So this is not good news. I mean, baby boomers are in better shape because, as I said,
because we're going to be dead soon.
We'll be dead soon. That's right. So we don't have to worry about the worst of the worst. But your children, your grandchildren, and if you are somebody in your 20s or 30s, I mean, you're just thinking. They're talking about massive layoffs with AI. Entry-level hiring has dropped more than 50% since 2022 at entry-level tech firms. Automation is in full swing. The middle-class massacre. I mean, it doesn't get any more bleak than that, does it? I don't think most people want to be massacred next year.
By the way, 17% of our listeners were having fun until you just spoke, and that destroyed that. Let me just say this. The reason why fun matters, I know you're saying to yourself, do I really need to hear that? Yes. Why fun matters, the same survey, well, some survey, 72% of people say fun reduces stress.
Right.
And listen to this, 89% fun strengthens relationships. At a time of frayed relationships, fun matters.
Well,
this may sound frivolous, but it really matters.
But then the weird thing is, when asked what kinds of activities count as fun, guess what topped the list?
I know what it is, and I'm with them.
Watching TV.
There's great TV in 2026.
Well, okay, that was kind of surprising. I thought it might be more like going, spending the day somewhere, taking a day trip, or going out to dinner. Jim always talks about the fun he has every weekend, baking banana bread with chocolate chips.
Yeah, I gave you some the other day, and it was good. So, I mean, I don't know why you're mentioning it. I find that to be fun. And by the way, it's in all seriousness, it's a frugal, thank you, Jamie. It's a frugal way to have fun.
It's a frugal.
You do a little baking. The ingredients, bananas are about the cheapest thing in the world.
I think we should say to people, what did you do this weekend? I used to have really fun. I
baked some banana bread with chocolate chips.
It was a frugal way to have fun.
Okay, I was having fun. The number's 877-301-8970. This is actually a serious subject. Are you having fun? And if you are, how are you accomplishing that? Wait a second. And if you're not having fun, is it because you're broke, like such a huge percentage of Americans? And by the way, can I just say,
what?
In the act of masochism that is out of control, I'm sitting in my favorite chair last night, and I decided to re-listen to the sound we played on the show from the Trump cabinet meeting 2 days ago. And I can't remember which of these cowards it was who said, "Thank you, Mr. President. It's the greatest economy in the history." For who other than Trump's family? I mean, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what have they made? $4 billion or $5 billion
since he's been reelected.
Yeah. So here's a good idea
from
Karen, Aaron, and Eddie. They're here at the library.
Where are they?
And I don't know where they are, but they said free.
They left. They weren't having any fun. I'm leaving because I'm not having any fun. How are you?
Free, beautiful public parks, and that is great. We have the Arnold Arboretum over in West Roxbury, or maybe is it Dorchester? Or is
I think it's in Roslindale.
Roslindale, okay.
Wherever it is,
it's somewhere
I know
over
where
there
it is,
on Route 203. You're driving from West Roxbury into toward Dorchester. I mean, that is one of the most gorgeous places ever. You just walk around there, you feel better. You know what else is great over in Cambridge? The Mount Auburn Cemetery.
It's beautiful.
You walk through the Mount Auburn Cemetery, really lifts your spirits.
Great bird
looking
watching.
Looking at all those gravestones.
And birds.
Yeah.
By the way, a couple of texts. Anonymous texter, I'm still having fun. I come to the BPL to laugh at Jim and Marjorie. To laugh at Jim and with Marjorie. And go to free events all over. Here's a good texter. The UFC and Vanilla Ice on the White House lawn for Trump's birthday. Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, I'm interested in what people think about that. That's a little. I'm not familiar with this UFC stuff. I'm not a big. I don't even like boxing very much, even though I love Muhammad Ali movies. I didn't.
When We Were Kings.
Yeah, but I didn't watch when they were hitting each other because it was so upsetting. But I don't know.
George Foreman. They fought in Africa.
Yeah, this is not. I think this is not something that we should be having on the White House lawn. It's a little violent, a little like over the top.
Well, I generally agree with you, but I did a little research. The founding fathers were huge UFC fans. So
John Adams and Ben Franklin went at it.
Those were the ones I was going to mention. 877-301-8970. The serious question: are you having fun? If you are, how you pulling it off? And if you're not, what's it doing to you? Because as it says. Fun reduces stress, so by definition, not having fun increases it.
Okay, an anonymous texter says, Jim, baking banana bread with chocolate chips will always be fun until the bananas do cost $10 and they're close.
Well, they're up, but they're in the grand scheme of things, they're still relatively affordable.
Well, that's good, Jim.
Now, no, they are.
We're all worried.
What do you mean?
About your baking on the weekends.
Well, by the way, I gave you a piece. You ate it in 10 seconds.
It was delicious.
So obviously it wasn't such a problem, was it?
It was very good. It's very good. I just wouldn't think most people think of that as a big fun activity, but I could be wrong.
Maybe you should learn how to bake, Marjorie, and then you could have some fun.
I think I do know how to bake.
I think you don't.
Thank you for. What are you talking about? I brought you muffins and cakes and cupcakes for years.
Can I tell you, they weren't that good. So, actually, they were delicious.
Okay.
They were. You're a great cupcake
I can't
and
cook,
muffin
but
maker.
I'm a good baker.
Lydia in Sutton.
Undercook. The moisture is very important.
Lydia in Sutton.
What do you think, Lydia?
Thank you much for calling. Hi.
Hi, Jim and Marjorie. Really big fan of the show. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
I'm sure Marjorie is a great baker.
She is, actually. She really is. Good.
Yep.
So I totally agree on just the stress about prices going up and everything becoming expensive. The way that thankfully it is summer and the weather's finally nice. So the summer is always like a great time for us because I have little kids and they want nothing more than to just run and climb and like do all of the outdoor things. We live in Central Mass and there's just a ton of really beautiful, amazing parks and lakes. We go swimming a lot in the summer. My kids have gotten into hiking a little bit more.
Great.
So we did a hike at Purgatory State Park last weekend. That was really nice. And we really love the Buffinville State Park. Or actually, it's a federal park with a lake, and Wallam Lake Park are two places where we go for swimming. And we'll pack a picnic and just take food with us and basically make a day of it.
There you go.
And packing food is definitely our survival thing. Is, you know, just spending money on food, unfortunately, has just become not sustainable for us. So I'll usually pack lunch boxes for the kids and like a sandwich or something like that for us. And
Lydia,
that was a great call.
It was a great. You've totally figured out how to maneuver around the time of short funding. That was great, Lydia. Thank you for your call.
One place especially.
Oh, sorry, she had one last thing. Please.
One other thing I wanted to just kind of pitch, because it's worked out really well for us. We bought an Ecotarium membership this year, which the Ecotarium is like a children's science museum in Worcester that is fantastic. And it's part of 3 reciprocal admission programs, like 3 museum networks that offer either completely free or discounted admission. So for a rainy day, I mean, it saved us like hundreds of dollars on museum admission.
Lydia, thank you for the
genius.
call.
Thank you. That was great.
I don't know about museums out that way in Worcester, but I do know that if you buy an annual admission to museums like Children's Museum, it's a lot cheaper than just going one at a time.
Well, Western Mass, NEPM, there are those multiple museums you get to go to on one pass.
Yeah, that's what
I'm talking about Western. No,
Western Mass.
Western
Okay,
Mass,
Western Mass. You know where else is great?
No.
If people haven't been there for a walk, you can always find a place to park. It's Castle Island in
Castle
South
Island.
Boston.
With Sully's
I mean,
and everything.
I wouldn't swim in the water myself, but I think you kind of can. It's not that bad. You can let the kids. I mean, you can see crabs in there, so it's still, you know, the water's not that dirty as it used to be. And they have that huge playground, the huge place, you know, hot dogs and hamburgers over there,
Sullivan's.
and that huge gazebo. You could see people sometimes
great.
with the kites. And the surfboards.
You can also watch the planes taking off.
Watch the planes.
It's beautiful.
For little
on a clear
kids,
day.
they love to watch the planes.
Okay, let's go to Kate in Concord. We're talking about the absence of fun in many American lives, even though Lydia's solved the problem. Hi, Kate.
Hi. I am about to do my most fun thing ever, and it is jumping into Walton Pond and going for a swim.
Well, that's pretty good.
There you go.
It is my favorite thing. I haven't been able to do it since last November, and it is just a joy.
Can I, Kate, this is going to sound pathetic after your upbeat voice. I always had a problem with the ground under the water being sort of mushy and squishy and stuff. Does that trouble you or just me at Walton Pond?
That's a good point, and it depends on what point you are at the pond.
Oh, it does?
Because if you're over near the boat launch area and areas where technically you're not supposed to swim, they leave it mushy because they don't want you to enjoy it. But in the areas that they want you to swim, no problem at all. You'll love it.
Kate, you're great. Thank you for the call. Jim from Arlington texts, well, I used to have 3 hours a day of fun, but now I'm down to 2 since a certain show shrunk itself.
That's right. Well,
thanks a lot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry we disappointed you, Jim.
Well, we're having more fun.
John from Nantucket says, I love chocolate chips, but they belong in cookies, not in banana bread. Criminal to mix the two. I did make that point, Jim, when you gave me the banana bread. He says, John from Nantucket, it's like pineapples and pizza. Doesn't like that either.
Well, he's wrong, but that's fine.
And bananas may still be cheap, says another texter, but apparently chocolate prices have soared.
They actually have soared. They are hugely up.
Stephen,
by the way, in a moment of seriousness amidst this frivolity, do you look at the price increases since
terrible.
this? Was it February 28th the war started?
Yeah,
I mean, prices were going up anyway
so.
Because of these insane tariffs that Trump became obsessed with. But you add the tariffs to the cost of this war. And let me add one more piece of bad news for people who are struggling already. I don't know if you said this on the air yesterday. We were just talking about it off the air. Anybody who thinks that the day the Strait of Hormuz reopens, which could be imminent potentially, that all of a sudden prices are going to go down, they're not. The ability of large numbers of ships to return to the February and before level has potential to take weeks, and the spillover effect of that's going to take a while, not to mention the fact that some of the prices, because of the Strait and related things, haven't even risen as much as they will because of the delayed impact of a lot of that stuff.
It could be $5 pretty soon for
Gas,
regular
yeah,
gas.
I know.
Okay, here's a despondent texter. Thought we were supposed to be pursuing happiness, not being pursued by debt collectors.
Yeah.
And listen to this one. I'm in a relatively stable position with my employment and personal situation, but it's hard not to feel despondent about the present and future. Everything is a ripoff. People running our governments, economy, local, state, and federal levels out of touch, don't understand or are actively benefiting the status quo. Time to throw the baby out with the bathwater, get rid of what we have now and start over with basically anything else. Wow.
Did you watch John King's All Over the Map in Maine yesterday?
I did, actually. I love
and
John
even
King.
people who are not so happy with Plattner
Right.
because of some comments, because of the tattoos, are saying, I'll take a chance. Some of them, I'll take a chance. We just need something new. We need young and different kind of thing, which I think has great appeal, frankly.
David in Somerville. Oh, in Mansfield. Thank you for calling.
Hi, David.
Hey there. Long time, few time caller.
Great.
So I am getting together this afternoon with my musical retired friends, and we're playing music in my barn.
Fabulous.
And,
wow.
And then we'll go to open mics periodically as a band. We are called the Recliners, and we will play a few songs.
That's
but the
great.
best part is when my wife and I will go out and there's live music, and she'll catch the lead man during a break and tell them that it's our anniversary, and her husband, really sings well, and could he get up and sing a song? And it's hardly ever our anniversary.
And does it work?
It works almost every time.
So can people find the Recliners, David, or you just catch as catch can kind of thing?
Yeah, we don't play out very much. We play at the VFW in Foxborough once in a while.
That's great.
But yeah, keep an eye out. We might play a little more often.
David, that's great. Thanks so much for your call. That's a wonderful thing.
Chris from Shrewsbury says he looks forward to marinating hot dogs this summer, per Jim's suggestion.
It's not my suggestion. I was relating what I read in the
Marinating
story.
hot
Can I
dogs.
tell a story off what that guy just said
Certainly.
that I've told once
Yep.
or twice on the air? When I was working for the union, I helped organize the rent control board in Santa Monica, California. And I told you this. I went out to meet with the members there. And the night before, I got in a night early, and I went out to dinner at a restaurant. What's it called? Ocean Drive? Whatever it is, the main drag in Santa Monica. And I'm in a restaurant, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, one person stands up and starts playing an instrument. And it was just thrilling. And then 30 seconds later, another person stands up. And ultimately, virtually the whole restaurant, I hadn't noticed it. And it was what the Recliners person was saying a minute ago.
Wow.
They were all retired musicians who met, I don't know, every Tuesday night at this particular bar restaurant and just played for free for each other. And it was really quite beautiful,
Wow.
actually. Talk about fun. It was
You could
great.
find one of those places and bring them some banana bread with
No, that's
chocolate
funny.
chips.
Well, by the way, ZUMIX is going to be here in about 20 minutes, and they're spectacular. Great organization, great music. Maria in New Hampshire, you are next. Welcome to the show. Hi.
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 Jim, I have to correct you a little bit.
What'd I get wrong?
Most baby boomers aren't doing as well as you think. Number one, baby boomers went out and bought reasonable-sized homes. And they have raised kids that want to move back home with their kids because they're looking to buy houses that are $800,000,
I know.
$900,000.
You're right.
They're frozen out. They're huge. And a lot of baby boomers are raising their grandchildren because the next generation, so many are addicted to things, and there's so much mental illness. The difference with the baby boomers is they're tough, and they don't complain about it. They just throw it on their back, and they just keep on going because they're so used to working hard.
Well, obviously, I am the exception to all that, Marie. That was a good call, and thank you for the correction. I accept it. Thanks for the call. Anonymous texter, my son and I spent the day in Boston last Friday, and it was wonderful. And besides food, very affordable. We went to the Maparium, rode the swan boats, walked all around, and the highlight, thank you very much, was coming to the BPL and attending the BPR show.
There you go.
It was a great day, and minus the food, we spent $20. That's pretty good.
Is the Matt Perry with the Christian Science Center? Where's the Maparium? Do we know where that is?
I think.
We should. Edgar B. Herc's over there.
Who said yes? Somebody in the audience. Yes,
yeah,
Madeline,
Christian
thank
Science
you.
Center. Thank you. I
The
thought
answer
so.
is yes.
That's really cool.
It's fabulous.
By the way, that is a gorgeous place to go visit too. I don't know how much it costs to go visit, but that place is the Christian Science Church is magnificent over there. Not to mention the reflecting pool.
Trump's going to paint the bottom blue so it looks like a swimming pool, by the way. That's his next project.
Yeah, that's going up and up and
it.
up in price, too.
Chuck.
And that's another scam. The guys are getting all this no-bid contract, getting $20 million or 20% profit.
That is correct.
Unbelievable. Chuck from Brighton. Thank you, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck. Got a minute or so.
Hi. I want to echo the fruit caller from two calls ago. The arts are my saving grace. You know, I always tell my wife that if I could live on the planet forever, then I could visit every single place on the planet. But if I was to live forever, I couldn't learn everything there is to learn about the arts, about playing music, about drawing. And there's so many free materials that are available online, even through social media. But that brings me to my second quick point. Meta announced the other day that they're rolling out a subscription plan for Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, and it's just another example of tech overlords trying to squeeze every last penny out of our pockets.
Well, they need that to make donations to the Trump campaign. So, Chuck, thank you for your call. We appreciate it.
We are out of time.
Not quite, but
we're not?
sort of. Well, we're sort of, I guess. We're
Okay,
out of
do you
time.
want to say anything before I introduce
What
our
are you
next
doing
guest?
for fun this weekend? Let's end with that.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I live a hermetic life. I'm very boring. Okay, we are out of time.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Coming up after this quick
Matt
break.
I'm sorry. Who taped this? You, Jamie? Maparium is a 3-story
Mary
walkthrough.
Baker. Yeah, the Christian Science Center.
Right.
Okay.
Obviously right across from the BSO on Mass Ave.
Yeah, 3-story walkthrough. Did you say that?
I
Stained
sorta
glass.
did.
Did you say stained glass?
No.
Okay, coming up after this quick, stained glass is over there too.
Okay.
Okay, it's our media analysis segment, Press Play, with GBH's own Adam Reilly and Callie Crossley. As Stephen Colbert is gone, 60 Minutes is in turmoil. CBS, I guess, is in turmoil as well. I'm Marjorie Egan. He's Jim Brady, listening to Boston Public Radio, GBH and NEPM live from the Boston Public Library, streaming at youtube.com/GBH News.
The weekend is coming with stories,
I always knew that I had a voice that could make a difference.
gardening,
Prune for health and appearance, not to try and control size.
and DIY delights.
There are these companies and they go viral because they'll spray something on the side of cedar and it just brightens it up and makes it look beautiful. But it doesn't actually add to the durability.
That's how we do weekends on GBH 89.7.
Our programs are made possible thanks to you. And Rogers Fish Company, founded by Roger Berkowitz, offering an array of New England seafood and entrees shippable anywhere in the U.S. More at rogersfishcompany.com. And the University of Rhode Island's College of Business. URI's online Blue MBA blends ocean science, business strategy, and real-world impact. Learn more at uri.edu/BlueMBA.
Welcome back to BPR and GBH and NEPM. Marjorie Egan, Jim Browdy, live at the library, streaming at youtube.com/GBH News. Tuesday, back at the library, Governor Healy will join us here for an hour from 11 to 12 to answer your questions and ours. It's time now for our media analysis segment, Press Play, with GBH's Adam Reilly and Callie Crossley. Callie's the host of Under the Radar with Callie Crossley, which you can catch Sunday nights right here at 89.7 at 6. Adam is a political reporter at GBH. Used to write the Don't Quote Me media column for the late great alternative weekly, the Boston Phoenix. Great to see you both. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. So a lot of us that watch or at least record 60 Minutes every Sunday night are kind of concerned about what's going to happen there. Sharon Alfonsi, her contract was not renewed. She was the one that produced the piece about the people going to the El Salvadorian prison, very critical of the Trump administration, that Barry Weiss at least delayed showing. And there's other big changes over there. Adam, what do you think we're going to end up with at 60 Minutes, which, by the way, is the TV's highest rated weekly news show?
Whole bunch of changes. It, to me, is one of the only spaces in American media where you still get the effect that we used to have with the three networks, where people sort of come together and come up with a unified conception of truth that they can take away, whatever their political leanings may happen to be. And these changes in aggregate make me wonder if that's going to continue to be the case or not. And I mean, Barry Weiss's tenure certainly suggests that they may be moving in a different direction where that's not the case.
Wait, by the way, Callie, I want to emphasize what Marjorie said. Not only does it remain the top-rated show of its kind by far, it had 9% increase in viewership, which is huge. So one might argue, if it ain't broke, there's plenty broke in TV news. That appears not to be it. How worried are you about the new round of Barry Weiss and this guy Bilton, who has no broadcast news experience, is going to run the show?
I'm devastated. I think this is it. Nick Bilton, just for everybody to know, is a well-regarded tech journalist. Several best-selling books of nonfiction, and he also produced one of the movies about the Theranos woman who
got in trouble.
Actually,
Elizabeth, whatever her name was.
Quite
Elizabeth
good.
Holmes,
But that's not what's happening at 60 Minutes. He tried to play it off by saying, hey, when Don Hewitt, the original founder of 60 Minutes, got the idea for 60 Minutes, it was because he loved documentaries and wanted to make shorter segments so that it would be accessible to people. So on his face, it looks like this is a very credentialed guy and respected in his field, but this is not, it's a whole other thing. So to me, not only with his announcement, we don't know what he's going to do, and it obviously has to be under the command of Barry Weiss. They fired the first Latino correspondent, Cecilia Vega. Yeah. They fired the executive editor. They fired the top editor, a woman who had been there, a number of years. She wasn't the first. We mentioned Don Hewitt, and there was another person in between. And so there are at least 5 firings, including Sharon Alfonsi from 60 Minutes, though she says she's still on the payroll at 60 Minutes, at CBS at this moment, so we don't know what will happen there. I predict they'll probably pay her out. So I don't have a good feeling about this at all. I would highly recommend a conversation that, what's his name, who heads the New Yorker? David Remnick. He rarely does the interviews himself on the podcast, but on this one he did an interview with Leslie Stahl and said to her, where's your line? And she said at that time, you know what, I guess I don't know where, I don't think I've met it yet. It'd be interesting to find out where she's sitting.
That's a perfect segue. Yes. Can I air the same tired theme that I air every week about the news media, how we don't support our colleagues? When, for example, last week we were talking about when Trump calls a woman reporter ugly or stupid, or the fact they don't even leave the room or say, we're going to ask the same question, do something. Sharon Alfonsi, his contract was not renewed for one reason and one reason alone. She had the courage to speak up when they held her story about that horrible mega prison in El Salvador. She spoke up. She said the truth, that essentially was held because they're kowtowing to Trump. And now her contract's not renewed. Why aren't the other correspondents and leaders doing something, putting out a statement, show half the courage that she showed rather than just waving goodbye? I feel in all these cases we should all do something, no?
Scott, that's... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Scott Pelley did say something at the Emmy Awards where several people were getting the Primetime Emmy Awards, getting some awards, and she was in the audience, and he mentioned that,
I missed that. Good for her.
Yes.
Good for
But I think it speaks to what Callie was talking about Leslie Stahl not knowing what her line was. There's the question of what the line is that makes you speak out publicly, and then also the question of the line that you feel you can reach as you speak out publicly, right? I think a lot of people in this situation probably convince themselves that they can be a force for good working on the inside, pushing back against what's happening internally rather than saying something so dramatic that they end up getting canned and losing their job. But I mean,
Adam, Marjorie and I have had this discussion for years, since the first Trump administration. Why don't all the Faucis of the world stand up together? Because they're not going to fire them all. Are they going to fire everybody on 60 Minutes if 10 of them made a joint statement at a press availability?
Kind of looking that way.
I don't know.
I think it's a possibility, which doesn't mean that ethically it's not the right thing to do.
No, I hear you.
Well, you know what's curious to me about this, though? I mean, the Ellisons are very friendly with Donald Trump.
Explain who they are, by the way.
Well, they're the people that own Paramount, and they bought a 60 Minutes, CBS essentially, and they're about to buy, it looks like, Warner Brothers, which includes CNN, which is wondering what's going to happen to them. But from a business perspective, as friendly as they are with Donald Trump, he's become one of the most unpopular presidents in the history of the United States of America. So And 60 Minutes has been doing really well, and it's been going up in viewership. It's also doing really well with older people who vote, pretty well, pretty much. So from a business perspective, do you want to keep aligning yourself with this sinking ship? That's one of the things you do wonder about.
He's not a middle manager or even a rising top executive. David Ellison is filthy rich.
Yeah.
So he is above this conversation.
So he doesn't care.
Yeah. I mean, he can do whatever he wants at this point.
Yeah, he just wants the deal to get done.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you want people like saying you're a loser because you screwed this whole thing up?
I'm going to suggest he lives in a bubble and he doesn't hear that.
Yeah.
I don't, that's not his concern, because look at all the people that, did write and say, hey, don't do this, don't do this. Look at the people of the Washington Post tried to appeal to Jeff Bezos and said, please talk to us at least before you come in here with a machete and cut off all our heads. No response.
Yeah.
And that's a guy that people thought made himself a little bit more accessible.
The government, by the way, just gave all this money to Jeff Bezos, his Blue Planet or whatever his what's his name of his company?
Blue Origin.
Blew up last night.
Yeah, blew up. That didn't. I mean, you don't have NASA things. You have had tragedies, but they've been few and far between, and they don't blow up like this one did.
Well, so speaking of cuts, I think when people read about these huge, I think 2 contributions to NPR a couple of weeks ago in the many millions, I think people mistakenly thought everything's fine. Yeah. They're being used for specific projects like the digital end and long-term capital investment. NPR, Adam, is laying off people in the newsroom, right?
Yeah, some big names, too. Don Gagné was the one that jumped out at me, one of the great voices on that network. I mean, I've loved his stuff for decades now. Nell Greenfield Boyce, who covers science for the network. I can't remember the total of how many they are buying out.
I think it's
like
8%.
4%.
They laid off 10 journalists and at least 18 news staffers voluntarily, accepted a buyout.
Yeah.
I just brought that up to say that the NPR is not immune. Post-federal funding cuts, even with these 2 huge grants, which are wonderful, they're going to have to contract, because in great part, these smaller NPR stations, unlike ours, that pay money to the national NPR to carry a lot of the national broadcasts, obviously are in serious trouble.
They don't have the money to do it anymore.
Well, I think this is a good time to quote our head of corporate giving to say that recognize the fact that at least last year, in the midst of this, there was a lot of rage donations. I've spoken about this to people. And he says, we're now at the point where people have to, this is David Wilson, people have to understand that beyond the rage, in order for us to keep going, you really have to still support us. Just not in your moment of hate or upset. We still got to keep going if you want it to exist.
Well, I have very good news for David you can share with him. Our moment of rage has not abated. No. It is exactly at the same level it's been for years.
He's talking about donating. People who donated, that was their motivation. So I think that, just getting that across, and that's part of the message from NPR as well. We're looking for sustainable donations and hoping that
We're talking Callie, Crossley, and Adam Reilly. I'm sorry.
So Stephen Colbert's show is gone. I'm going to miss him a lot. But he's doing this public access, this one show on a public access station. There's some controversy about this, which I don't really understand. Maybe you understand it.
Can we hear him first? We have
Sure.
a little bit. It's called Only in Monroe. I believed he did it the night after his final night on CBS.
Yes.
It's in Monroe, Michigan. He did this hour-long late-night parody episode with a bunch of guests. Here he is.
Hello. Also welcome. It's time for another edition of Only in Monroe.
Great.
I'm your guest, host, Stephen Colbert. It's been an excruciating 23 hours without being on TV. So I am grateful to be able to be here on Monroe Community Media before they also get acquired by Paramount.
Yeah. So what's the brouhaha?
Well,
Either of you get it?
Initially, and it took me a little while to wrap my brain around this. Initially, the brouhaha was that CBS was insisting that clips of this or the entire episode be taken off the air, which led a lot of people to say, oh, look at this, CBS is mistreating Stephen Colbert again. He did this cool thing right after leaving his show, and they won't even let him enjoy that. But now it has since emerged that CBS actually paid for the show in question.
Why? I don't understand that at all.
That I don't understand.
But also they waived they first said, we're going to sue you. It's copyright infringement. And then they said, oh, well, we're going to waive it after everybody said, leave him alone.
But why is CBS, Callie,
I don't
two
know.
of us, why are they supporting his post
I think it was
late
just
night
that
efforts?
show.
Oh, was?
But I also think, as you know, people can not figure out by now that he was very popular. The one show has 400,000 views already. And it's the only thing on his YouTube channel. I think what they were trying to do is maybe stop the progress of his YouTube channel, which has nothing else except this content now, but will have other things, as we know.
Yeah.
But what a way for him to make everybody know about his YouTube channel.
You know what's interesting? I read Tucker Carlson, who was a big star on Fox. He got in trouble in Fox about lying about the election, a lot of other things. Anyway, he's got this huge following now on his podcast. So it's certainly conceivable that Stephen Colbert could be bigger
on
at YouTube.
If he wanted to do that.
If he wants to do
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
than he ever was on television. And young people, of course, are more into YouTube than network TV.
YouTube has more listeners, viewers, whatever, than the networks and streamers combined.
Is it that
incredible.
big?
Yes, it's huge.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. So
Yes.
we'll see what happens. I loved his show. I love Jimmy Kimmel's show, too.
Well, it's really sad if you're up late.
What do you mean you loved it?
occasionally.
Excuse me. He's still on.
I do. I
okay.
I
Oh, I
record
thought you
that
didn't
too.
know that.
I
I'm
record
sorry,
them
Callie.
all
What
so
were
I
you
can watch
saying?
them the next day.
No, it's saying what's sad is if you're up late and then you watch this Byron Allen ridiculousness afterwards, you just get all upset.
Oh my God, is it bad? I haven't
Of
watched
course
it.
it's bad.
It's
Of
bad.
course it's bad.
You know what, Rich? I have to say.
Well, good. It serves him right for doing this.
Well, I
except
think it'll sell.
You know who sent him a really nice note?
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert.
Of course, because
I don't
he's-
get. We had a discussion
Yeah.
with Eric Deggans the other day
Yeah.
for NPR TV critic, whatever. I love Colbert. I mean, I really love. He was too nice. I mean, it really. Other than Bruce Springsteen trashing CBS in the final week, it was a nice-a-thon. And I mean,
But before that he wasn't. He
no,
said,
of course he
yeah,
was.
So,
But I mean, that was the week when a lot
Yeah.
of people tuned
Yeah.
in who hadn't been tuned in regularly.
Yeah.
Were you? I was pro low road, I have to say, and he took I'm pro low road and everything, but he took the high road. Were you okay with that, both of you?
It didn't bother me because I thought, he has to come to grips with his own kind of closure, and also he doesn't intend to go away. So however he wants to exit, it thus far has not served me well on the low road. It's been lonely there.
Well,
But it's a fun place to be. It's lonely.
I'm just saying.
There's always been, despite how barbed his comedy could be, there's always been sort of a gentle side to him.
I agree with
It's
that.
hard
I
to put
agree
my
with that.
finger on
Yes.
it, but so in that sense, it was in character.
Margaret Sullivan, who's our favorite media critic by far and is kind enough to join us every month or so here, has been critical correctly about the media never really catching up with Trump and never getting it. And she hypothesizes, if that's the right word, that the slush fund thing, and by the way, a judge just this morning enjoined the $1.8 billion.
love it.
I mean, that's preliminary, but the $1.8 billion slush fund in part pay off the people who beat up cops on January 6th. She says, Callie, that a good example of the media having a long attention span like they should on things that really matter was the slush fund thing. Do you subscribe to her notion here?
I usually pretty much subscribe to everything as
So
she
do I.
analyzes it. So I think she has an excellent point about this bringing together out in the world, in the wild, people of all ideological persuasions, because they are just, you can't help but see it. It is such fraud, so ridiculous. And it is your money, as somebody wrote in the headline. This is your money being used against this guy's enemies or his perceived enemies. He's set them up. And when else? So it can go one of two ways, my thought was. There must be a group of people who think, I wish I had the power to go after all the people who have messed with me in the past, and isn't this great? But I think for everybody else, it's like, don't do this on our time and our money.
You know, I'm a huge Margaret Sullivan fan. I took issue with her diagnosis of how Americans feel about this stuff. She said it takes a lot to get through to us. So many of us have decided to ignore serious news in favor of mindless video reels. I don't think that describes a good half of the country. I think the problem is you can feel outraged and there's nothing really you can do with it. So in that rare instance, I demur.
We got to go. To be continued. Great to see you both. Thanks so much for your time.
Alan Reilly and Callie Crossley, thank you for joining us. Callie's host of Under the Radar with Callie Crossley, Sunday nights, 89.7 at 6 o'clock. Culture Show, Week in Review every Friday here.
ZUMIX coming up.
ZUMIX is coming up.
I'm Jared Bowen. Today on The Culture Show, Bobby Brown. The makeup maven and entrepreneur joins us to talk about her new book, Still Bobby. A candid, colorful reflection on beauty, aging, reinvention, and staying true to yourself. From the early days of her iconic brand to her latest ventures, she's redefining what it means to be authentic in a filtered, airbrushed, Botoxed world. That and more on The Culture Show today at 2 on 89.7 GBH.
Support for GBH comes from you. And Classic Harbor Line, offering a range of cruises for families, corporate gatherings, and sightseeing day sails throughout the summer in Boston. More at classicharborline.com. And Boston Ballet, presenting The Sleeping Beauty. The timeless fairy tale is brought to life with exquisite choreography and Tchaikovsky's glorious score. Performed live by the Boston Ballet Orchestra, now through June 7th. Tickets at bostonballet.org.
Welcome back to BPR and GBH and NEPM. Marjorie Egan, Jim Browdy, live at the library, stream at youtube.com/GBH News. Again, Tuesday, we're back at the library. Governor Healy joins us from 11 to noon for Ask the Governor, obviously. It's time for another edition of Live Music Friday, courtesy of East Boston's fabulous youth organization, ZUMIX, ZUMIX, a nonprofit that aims to build community for young people through music, creativity, and technology. They're joining us ahead of a show this Sunday, an event, actually, when they'll take over the Hat Shell for Groundbeat Music Series. We'll hear all about that in a couple of minutes when we speak to Corey DePina, who's over there, who's the founding member and ZUMIX program director. You go to ZUMIX.org/events. We'll tell you again in a minute, or esplanade.org/groundbeat for more info. But first, let's hear an original song by Jessica. She goes by Nelly Barco Guerra, a ZUMIX alum who just graduated from Berkeley, accompanied by Julian Jarjor. Welcome to both of you.
For the future, they don't want me here, family neither, stuck in between present and future, no me quieren aquí, they hope I would fear them, where to go, one step closer, far from home, one for tomorrow, where to go, gotta know, I'm one step closer, where to go, one step closer, far from home, one for tomorrow, where to go, gotta know, I'm one step closer, I've been running, on the run, on the go, if I've been lost with you, my way. Where is my home? I've been running on the go. Keep my eyes on my dreams. No, I can't afford the back and forth in my mind. Take a risk, 'cause no one will do it for me or for you. Tell me who you do it for. Tell me who you do it for. Tell me who you do it for. Tell me who for. Tell me who you do it for. Where to go? One step closer, far from home. One for tomorrow. Where to go? Gotta know. I'm one step closer. Where to go? One step closer, far from home. One for tomorrow. Where to go? I gotta know. I'm one step closer. I've been running on the run, on the go. If I've been lost, would you tell me so? I can't find my way. Where is my home? I've been running on the, and no, I can't find my way. Now tell me, where is my home? And I just been running, and I just been running, and no, I can't find my way. Now tell me, where is my home? 'Cause I just been running, I just been running.
Hey, Ellie. That was great. Come join us.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much. So, Corey DePina, you're already here at the podium here.
Yes, hello.
Explain to people more about ZUMIX.
Oh, ZUMIX is an amazing nonprofit located right here in East Boston, and we just celebrated our 35th year.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, April Fool's Day, April 1st when we were founded. And we offer a variety of programs. Young people start as young as 7 until they graduate high school, and they're doing everything from private lessons all the way to having creative tech programs like radio, live sound engineering, video, and original songwriting and performing. Yeah.
We're going to call you Naeli, is that?
Yes,
Okay,
so my name is Jessica, but my performing name when I share my music is Naeli.
Hi, Naeli. You were great.
Thank you so
what's
much.
what was your ZUMIX connection? What did it do for you?
Yes, so ZUMIX was my first music education program. I went to an incredible high school, but unfortunately did not have a music education program. And I had an inkling for singing, and I was like, well, no, what better place to do it than right there in East Boston community. It was the first program where I learned I got voice lessons, I learned music theory, and they ended up helping me prepare to audition for Berklee College of Music.
And how'd that work out?
Amazing. I'm a recent Berklee College of Music graduate.
Yeah, like 2
Corey,
weeks.
I was reading this morning, too. ZUMIX started a long time ago, like 2005 or something like that?
91.
91, even longer ago.
35th anniversary.
Yeah, 35th anniversary. That's right. You just said that.
Whatever.
So, but it was all about giving kids something to do besides just hang around the corners and
No,
get in
definitely.
trouble.
I was a 12-year-old trying to find something to do. And this lady, Madeline Sachinsky, opened up her home. And little did she know that
Madeline's
that
right
one
here,
time,
by the way.
right,
She's
Madeline? Much
incredible,
love.
by the way. She's incredible. Go
Little
ahead,
did we know that one thing would lead to years of programming. We were like, what's next? And she was like, I don't know, but what are we going to do next? And organically, it kind of just grew all the way to the point where it was like, wouldn't it be great if we had our own radio station? And we do. And it's like everything in between. It's been awesome.
Tell us about the Firehouse.
Oh, the Firehouse is amazing. We spent about 8 years doing a big capital campaign and transformed the old historic firehouse into our home. And now we have a radio station there, a performance venue. We offer programming for about 500 kids throughout the summer and after school. And people really find their tribe and their community there. Yeah, 3 decades. Yeah.
But then let me be clear. Not everybody who finds this to be their cup of tea goes on to be a performer like you. I mean, there are a lot of different things, including just getting back to our first topic, a huge amount of fun in a world that's not terribly much fun, right?
Yes, I guess for me, ZUMIX was a safe place in my community. Well, their main thing is music, but they also have different sorts of programs, such as radio. They also have amazing programs where students can use videography,
Get their first
poetry,
jobs.
audio engineering, just all the behind the scenes or in the stage if that's what you want to do.
So what are you doing? This sounds fabulous. What's happening Sunday, Corey?
Oh, this Sunday.
By the
we are
way, you're
taking
wearing
over.
a Red Sox thing, and they're the worst team in baseball.
I mean,
not
being
exactly
from
the
Boston,
right
The loyal
feel.
guy,
You
loyal
can't,
guy.
Like, not be a sports person
Okay,
from
fine.
Boston.
What's happening
I'm more of a
Sunday?
musician. This Sunday, we are taking over the beautiful and historic Hat Show right there off of Sterling Drive. There was an opportunity for local community people to like fill that space up, and we were lucky to be chosen. So we're going to be showcasing 35 years of what we do in the park and featuring some cool partners like the Floor Lords, breakdancing, some other dance groups, alumni, current students, all of our engineers. So we're activating the space. And Marjorie, I heard you're not having anything to do this weekend. You might want to come check it out. I mean, you're talking about having fun,
That's
right?
I should get
come
right
have
down
some
there.
fun.
Come have some fun. You're
Let's do
absolutely right,
this.
Corey.
Yeah.
By the way, and while Saturday's supposed to be crummy, Sunday's supposed
Sunday
to be
is
quite
the
beautiful.
Beautiful
day.
day.
By the way,
Yeah.
A beautiful day.
By the way,
You also-
what does that cost, Corey? People, we care.
It is free.
Free.
99.
Repeat that,
Free.
please.
Zero.
Free.
Zero.
Free.
It's just cost your time, and I'm pretty sure you'll get some interest.
That's
back
fabulous.
from it. Yeah.
You know, you also got chosen by Mackenzie Scott. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Oh, we got a Mackenzie Scott donation of $1 million
Wow.
to help us, be a little bit more solid in doing this work. It was very generous and very great for us to have some cushion during a time of uncertainty when things are happening. We have something that we can lean into, and we were very honored and blessed to have that. It gave us something to look forward to and to work with.
But on a down note, obviously you also suffered a loss from NEA funding.
Correct.
So how are the finance? I mean, it's great. The Scott Grant, I assume people have read about this, no strings attached kind of thing, comes out of the blue. You don't even apply.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you get an email. I know Madeline
We thought
did.
it was a joke. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you don't know whether you're going to give them their phone number, and you
Correct.
do, and you get good news if you're
Yeah.
doing wonderful work. But how are the finances in 2026?
Finances in our area are tough. I mean, we have to read the room before we go into, because some people are literally losing their jobs and their programming and the years of relationships that they built. We're lucky to be in this for 30-something years, so people are looking to us to partner, come in stronger, learn from. The need is always going to be there. And so it's really about being smart on who wants to help support that need and keep the music going. So we got some really good partners who believe in the work. Yeah.
Not to keep going on another down note, but East Boston is a largely immigrant community, and this has not been a great time here or any place in this country right now for immigrants. Do you feel that tension?
Yes, there's definitely a tension, but I would say the community is more united more than ever. I think places like ZUMIX that are a safe place, even for people that don't necessarily do music, you'll find people coming in just to hang out and just a safe place. So I would say the community is definitely tighter.
Yeah.
Can I just read a couple of texts, unsolicited, obviously,
for it,
anonymous?
yeah.
I know a few folks who are in ZUMIX. I know seeing young kids perform might not always catch your attention, but it should. Capital letters. They're so talented. Micah on YouTube, an incredible organization that is doing amazing work in EC. What do you want to do?
What do I want to do? Well, I'm a recent music business and management with a marketing track graduate, but I'm also a performer as well, so I would say I have different interests, but I would love to be supporting music marketing, definitely be involved in something creative, and keep releasing my music.
The former president of Berkeley, Roger Brown's with us fairly regularly, created this
he's a
great
great guy.
Salt Lick incubator for young performers to help them learn about management and budgeting and all these kinds of things. How friendly is this community to young performers? Greater Boston.
The Greater Boston? I would say that there's a misconception in Boston specifically with, is there even a Boston music scene? I think you really have to go in and look out for it. And I think the people that want to make the opportunities, make them happen. During my time at Berkeley, I've attended different shows that people would host with different genres, particularly R&B, hip-hop, and even Latin music. So I would say the community is there if you seek it out and you make it happen. And I think there's a lot of people that are organizing.
So, Corey, I'm sorry. Before you tell us who's going to perform next and what they're performing, for Beyond Sunday, there's also a March for Music or something
there's
in
a
July?
Walk for Music.
Walk for Music. Sorry, what's happening there?
That's July 12th. This is one of those spaces where the community can come and literally just support by showing up. We walk about a little bit under 3 miles in East Boston, and every step is us representing the importance of arts education. And we don't do it just by walking. We do it by marching to music, like a New Orleans band style. We got puppies, we got signs, and people are coming in. And at the end, we end at Pierce Park with a live concert, which kicks off our concert series that we have during the summer. Every Sunday, concerts at Pierce Park.
ZUMIX.org to find out. By the way, Marjorie's not doing anything that day either.
That's
so
right.
In case you want
Put on some comfy shoes. You know what I'm
very, very
Who
exciting
wants to tell us what's coming next?
Yes.
Oh, next we have a current ZUMIX participant, Elena, who's going to be doing an original song that she wrote in our songwriting and performance program.
Fabulous. It was great to meet you, too, by the way.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, John.
And Elena, we're excited you're here. Welcome.
Flickered out words that didn't matter, but I still like them now. Didn't see it coming, but I kind of like the thought of something in the silence. Maybe, maybe not. Laughing till we're breathless. Stories overflow. Feel the spark too, baby, let it show. Little sparks in the dark, nothing I can name. Running circles in my head, soft like summer rain. Ooh, like summer rain. Ooh, like summer rain. Something in your smile makes me lose my train of thought. Can't pretend I don't feel this. Maybe, maybe not. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Something in your smile makes me lose my train of thought. Can't pretend I don't feel this. Maybe, maybe not. Side glances when we laugh. Don't you read my mind? It feels like soft air coming from behind. Nothing in my hands, but it's something that I've got hidden in the quiet. Maybe, maybe not. Laughing till we're breathless. Stories overflow. If you feel the spark too, baby, let it show. Little sparks in the dark, nothing I can name. Running circles in my head, soft like summer rain. Little sparks in the dark, nothing I can name. Running circles in my head, soft like summer rain. Ooh, like summer rain. Ooh, like summer rain. No more maybe, now it's true. This feeling shining through, so I know you feel it too.
That was great.
That was Maybe,
That
Maybe
was
Not
fabulous.
by Alina Barreto performing with
That's
Julian
great.
Jarger. And they are,
Thank you
everybody
so
here
much.
is from ZUMIX. What time on Sunday at the Hat Shell, please? 4 o'clock?
4 to
Okay.
7.
4 to 7 o'clock at the Hat Shell this Sunday. You can hear the gang from ZUMIX, but kind enough to join us. We've been speaking and hearing from Corey DePina founding member, current program director at ZUMIX, plus Jessica Nayeli Barco Guerrera. Thank you very much. Say goodbye to NEPM. We're going to keep going here in Boston. Coming up after this quick break, bioethicist Dr. Zeke Emanuel. I'm Marjorie Egan. He's Jim Browdy. It's BPR, GBH, and NEPM live from the BPL.
If you're a GBH sustainer and your credit or debit card has expired, it's time to update your information. Take just a few minutes to make sure your information is current. Go to gbh.org/update, and thank you for your support.
Funding for our programs comes from you. And Mass General Brigham. In heart surgery, expertise matters. Mass General Brigham Heart and Vascular Institute performs thousands of surgeries each year and is committed to research and innovation. massgeneralbrigham.org/heart.
And the Boston Speaker Series, announcing its upcoming season at Symphony Hall for 7 evenings featuring Pete Buttigieg, former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, war photographer Lindsay Addario, and former U.S. Ambassador to China Nicholas Burns. bostonspeakers.org.
You're listening to 89.7 WGBH HD1 Boston. Online at gbhnews.org. GBH News. What matters to you?
Welcome to hour number 2 of Boston Public Radio, 89.7 GBH. Jim Brody and Marjorie Egan. We are broadcasting live from the Boston Public Library and streaming on youtube.com/GBH News. This Tuesday, we're going to be joined here back at the library by the Governor of the Commonwealth, Maura Healey, taking our questions and yours from 11 to noon, excuse me. 11 to noon.
Close enough. That's my attitude.
She will not be here for 3 hours.
She may.
She'll only be here for 1 hour.
We won't be here for 3 hours, but she could be.
Okay, Jim, go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Marjorie and I talk a lot about affordability in America under Trump 2.0, and another aspect of everyday life that becomes virtually unaffordable, health care. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, something like half of U.S. adults say it's difficult to afford health care costs, and Americans as a whole vote it to be their single number one greatest financial worry. Joining us at the library desk, someone who helped put the Affordable Care Act together, has some ideas about fixing it, Dr. Zeke Emanuel. He's an oncologist and bioethicist, senior fellow at the Center for American Progress, current vice provost for global initiatives at the University of Pennsylvania, where he chairs the Department of Medical Ethics and Health Policy, and author, we talked about this, of a great book recently called Eat Your Ice Cream. And since he was on last time to talk about that book, Marjorie knows I've tried very hard to follow his advice and not be, quote, a schmuck. But Marjorie says I have failed. So despite your best efforts, It's great to see you, Doctor. How are you?
It's terrific to be here as usual, and it's also terrific to see the community that you've established.
Isn't it great? It is a great place.
We're very lucky to be here.
Number one rule of wellness. Social interaction.
That's right.
Talking to people, sharing things like coffee and other good
Which
goodies.
is why I learned you can even eat your ice cream because it's a social activity.
That's right.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Okay, so you've got some very great ideas about how to get us out of this mess with healthcare. But before we talk about those, just elaborate on what Jim said about the mess that we are in right now.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to elaborate. Every American feels it. Every American feels like they're hesitant to go to the doctor, to go to the emergency room if they need it, to fill their prescriptions. We know that millions of Americans, 82 million roughly, postpone medical treatment because of cost. And a big portion of them postpone taking their drugs because of cost. This is no way to run a railroad. And the deductibles have gone up and up and up. And I think, deductibles are meant to limit unnecessary care.
Right.
But when you're at $3,000 or $5,000, it's limiting every care, including necessary care, and that is totally unacceptable. They're not doing their job. They're actually preventing people from getting healthy.
And even the people who think that they are well insured, as a lot of us do, they're insured through our companies, find out when something happens, we could wind up with thousands of dollars out of pocket.
Well, that's one of, I think, the biggest problems of the system is the lack of standardization. You should not need a PhD in health policy to figure out what you're covered for, to figure out how much it's going to cost. It should be obvious to the average American, and it's not today. So one of the things that happens every open enrollment period is I get calls from people who know me. Which insurance should I take? And I'm like you, I got to read the same list because You know, in this country, we have more than 350,000 different kinds of policies. Talk about insane.
Wait a second. 350,000, you just said?
Yeah.
Different kinds of policies.
Yeah.
And by the way, the stat we were quoting for years, I don't know if it's still true, you would know, that the number one cause of personal bankruptcy is health insurance costs for those who are insured. Is that still?
I don't know if that is exactly true, but health care costs in general are a number one cause of bankruptcy. And that, again, why should people have to be bankrupt to get the health care they need to stay healthy and live a long and productive life?
So let's talk some fixes. You gave a speech in front of executives to which they returned silence, which is a beautiful thing if you're a speaker. When you said, what are you willing to sacrifice for a better health care system? Talk a little bit about that, including what we could sacrifice.
Jim, I want to make very clear to everyone listening, all right, we do not have a problem of money. We are awash in money in the healthcare system. Yes, the hospitals say they don't get enough money. Yes, the doctors say they don't get enough money. Everyone in the system says they don't. But we're spending, on average, $15,000 per American on healthcare. There's more than enough money, and we're spending way more than the next highest country as a percentage of GDP, Germany. Actually, if we were down to German-level spending, it'd be about $10,000 per person. That's about $5,000 per person we could save. Money is not the problem. And I said it to these executives. We're awash in money. The issue is the structure of the system is so monstrous. We're spending a lot of money on administration because it's not standardized. We're spending a lot of money on unnecessary things that look great but don't add to your health. And we're not actually helping to promote health. And so my challenge to them is, all right, what are you going to give up? All right, maybe you'll give up some shenanigans that you've been doing, like upcoding if you're an insurer.
What's upcoding?
Upcoding is where you see a patient and you check off boxes for the illnesses they have that make them look sicker than they really are. Maybe they had an illness, but it hasn't. They haven't needed treatment in years. But you upcode it, you put it in, and you get more money because they look sicker to the government. Those kinds of shenanigans, you got to give them up.
What's the incentive for them to give them up if they're making more money and no one's stopping them?
Well, I'll tell you one of the things. They have first of all, they have a big PR problem. And second of all, we've seen the violence. Every time someone says, we're doing our best, I said, first of all, the American public is totally dissatisfied. And if you don't believe that, right, I got two words for you. Luigi Mangione.
Yeah.
Okay, it says it all, right? If someone's willing to go out and shoot and kill an insurance company executive, it tells you what the level of frustration is.
And become a hero to a lot of people, sadly,
Absolutely.
I should say.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think everyone, now we're not going to get each individual group to give something up, right? The Mass General Brigham, who sponsors this, right, they're going to have to give up. You and I, as patients, are going to have to give up. Some doctors are going to have to give up. But we all have to give up something for a better working system. And by the way, if we save money, we're all going to benefit.
What should we give up? What should we as patients give up?
So I think one of the issues is you want lower drug prices? Let's be honest. There is going to be somewhat less innovation, okay? Which innovation is going to be cut? The drug companies are going to make that decision. And you know what they're going to decide? Those, what we call low value. Drugs that don't make a big difference, they're probably going to be the ones to cut. The high value ones, which they know they can sell, those are going to be the ones they save. Are we willing to do it? I think we should.
What's a high-value drug?
Well, a drug that might cure your cancer.
That might cure your cancer?
Yeah.
Okay.
A drug that might prolong your life. A drug that might keep your blood pressure down and is easier to take. A drug we recently have that might not get rid of HIV, but keep it under control for a year at a time.
Okay, so you mean high value in terms of its efficacy with the patient as opposed to money-making high value.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's a really important clarification.
Okay.
But here's the other thing. You go into these hospitals, right? One of the things not-for-profit hospitals do is they constantly upgrading their technology or getting the latest when, the not latest was pretty good and good enough. Or, building a new cancer center because that's where the money is. Or building a new surgical operating suite because that's where the money is. I'm willing to give up that. I'm willing to have plastic chairs instead of fancy chairs. I'm willing not to have fancy art in the lobbies. There are lots of things that add to costs that I'm willing to go without And I'm also personally, you know, I know this annoys Americans, but I'm willing to wait another couple of weeks, another 4 weeks even, for elective procedures if that's actually going to make the system work better.
You know, there are some things in here which I had no idea even were going on. You mentioned in the story, oncologists are paid more for prescribing more expensive drugs. They get a percentage of the price of the chemotherapy they prescribe. I didn't know that.
Lots of. So let me say two things. There are a lot of places in the healthcare system where people get a percentage of what is either billed or what they're prescribing. Brokers who sell insurance, they get a percentage, okay? Insurance companies for managing a lot of the claims for big companies, they get a percentage. And oncologists.
The physician, that's the physician that you kind of wouldn't think would be doing this.
Well, they didn't decide how they got paid.
Okay.
That was decided by the payer, in this case Medicare.
Yeah.
And it's a really stupid system. I think no one who honestly looks at it, who doesn't have an interest like oncologists, say that we shouldn't be paying that way. We're going to manage the inevitable side effects. Those are the calls I get from people who know me or people who know my brothers and call me when they have a cancer or their loved one has a cancer. We should pay for that because that's of real value to people.
By the way, since you mentioned his brothers, I wasn't one of his brothers. You know, Rahm Emanuel, former mayor of Chicago, chief of staff to Obama, and maybe presidential candidate in 2028. Sorry.
You know, just one more thing about cancer. You hear this all the time. My sister lives down in Cape Cod. Every time someone that she knows gets sick down in Cape Cod, they all say the same thing. Go to Boston, go to Boston, go to Dana-Farber, go to the Brigham, whatever. Is that what people should be doing? Or should they just, you know, take their chances at the Cape Cod Hospital or Falmouth Hospital and see how they do?
Well, look, ideally, Marjorie, what should happen? Every hospital should be following the best treatment and give you the best treatment. Now, there are going to be places like the Mass General, Brigham, Beth Israel here in town, places I trained at, and you should, you know, they're going to do experimental things. They're going to be at the edge, right? But for bread and butter stuff, regular breast cancer, regular colon cancer, we should have a system that says everyone in the country is getting the same best care and administered in the same way. And we have to be assured that the quality is high. And one of the things we don't do in the current system is we don't actually assess every single doctor, hospital for making sure patients are getting the treatment. And we know, right? How do we know that we're not doing that? Well, we have a very high infant and maternal mortality rate. Most patients who have high blood pressure don't have it under control. Most patients who have diabetes aren't getting the best diabetes care. We have to change that. And, you know, again, this is part of the systematic thing. That's one of the reasons I think everyone has to give something up. What do doctors have to give up? They all have to be monitored for, are they adhering to the highest standards of care?
So we're talking to Dr. Zeke Emanuel. I just want to say,
I just want to be clear though, so that people who have regular breast cancer or colon cancer, they could be fairly sure that they can stay at their local hospital and not have to drive an hour and a half to get to Dana-Farber.
I'm not going to vouch for the
You're not
quality
gonna vouch. Okay.
at every single hospital in America.
And patients don't have no way of knowing
that
the quality either, do they?
And they should be apoplectic about that, I think. I think that's one of the things we should be assured in the United States. And the unfortunate fact is we can't be assured of that at the moment. And any healthcare reform we have to address the affordability question also has to address making sure we have uniform, high, and continually improving quality.
So, Dr. Emanuel, let's assume that none of us are willing to make sacrifices, though we should, whether it's an individual, a hospital, a doctor's practice, whatever. You were obviously involved, as I said, in the creation of the Affordable Care Act. John Gruber's with us regularly, same deal. Could government in 2029 or 2030 do many of the things you're talking about if we were unwilling to voluntarily do them ourselves?
Well, if first of all, I don't think any individual organization like the great hospitals in Boston or even the Boston Public is enough. This is something that has to be done nationwide. We need rules that apply to everyone.
Sort of why we have government, some of us think.
I agree. And I've said this in public and I'll say it again here, is look, I don't know whether it's 2028 or 2032, but healthcare as you point out, on the affordability criteria is #1 issue for the American public. The crescendo for change is going to go up. Already, more than half of Americans think the system needs major reform or is in a crisis. So I think there's building frustration, and unless it's addressed, we are going to have major reform. The problem I have, and I think it's a problem everyone has, is how are you going to get major reform through this Congress? It's polarized. They don't really understand health care. I think that is the challenge. And I think we need at the moment, we don't have a comprehensive reform package that Congress could critically examine. We need to develop that.
So you talked about affordability in the beginning and answer one of Marjorie's questions. You talked about administrative costs. If standing next to you was, I don't know, say Senator Sanders, he would say, I have the perfect solution for you, doctor, Medicare for all. That's not on your list, is it, or is it?
No, it is not.
Why isn't it?
Okay. Americans who want Medicare, I got nothing wrong with it, and I agree with Dr. Sanders, Senator Sanders, that we ought to make that an option if people want to go in. But that's not enough for the reform. Competing against that, you need regular other plans that may be more efficient. Frankly, traditional Medicare was devised in the 50s and is not modern. There are lots of things about it that are not up to date. I'll give you a few. You have a part that covers hospitals, and then a separate part that covers doctors, and a separate part. That's antiquated. And the money doesn't flow between them the way it should. It's not structured like a modern system. That doctors, oncologists, and rheumatologists and others get paid more for giving you a more expensive drug. That was Medicare that started that. There are lots of things that don't work in that system. And I would like some competition. We know that competition can improve things. So Sanders would come back and say, well, then it's a lot of gaming and all. Well, that's why we need to standardize things. That's why we need to simplify things. So I don't think there's a single solution. But he's right. Medicare, modernized, ought to be one of the choices people can go to. And we'll see in the competition of the marketplace who wins. That's what I want to do. Because I think if they compete on quality, service, co-pays, their network. We'll see which one wins. They should not compete on, gotcha, you don't get covered for this, or, we're going to charge you an exorbitant amount that you can't afford health care. That's not competition. That's exclusion.
You talked about the pressure mounting. So is that good for us that the pressure will mount to a point where something is going to happen? Because we have been talking about the healthcare system being a disaster now for, 30 years, maybe longer?
We did have the Affordable Care Act 15 years ago that made things better. I mean, people actually... And
reforms here, by the way. We should say Beacon Hill, we trash every single day. Yep. They did some good things here, but go ahead.
Yeah. Absolutely. Look, there is a theory of government, that things have to get worse before we're going to build up the pressure to get better. John Kingdon, who was a professor of political science at Michigan, said, you need 3 things to come together to get reform. You need the public to recognize a problem. I think we got that. You need a solution that has been argued about, vetted, and people agree. That's how we got Romney Care and then infused the Affordable Care Act. And then you need a political moment. I think we've got recognition of the problem. What we don't have is a clear solution. And I think the political moment, as I just said, is going to be somewhere between 2028 and 2032 because the American public is pissed.
Assuming we make it to 2028. Now, before you leave, every time we announce
something... You mean I'm not here for the next 2 hours?
Well, you could be, but not with us. So here's the deal, Doctor. Every time we announce you're on, the texts start coming. Didn't this guy write something about wanting to die at 75? Okay, in the Atlantic, September 18th, 2014, why I hope to die at 75. I, like all of them, misunderstood your point, which you clarified for us a year or so ago. Can you explain what you were saying? People should read it. What were you saying in the Atlantic in 2014?
All right. I'm going to try a different way of trying to explain
Please do.
this.
Thank you.
So I think I know what hell is. All right? Personally...
We're living in it, my friend. Let me tell you. Go ahead.
Personally, it's my body's working great. The heart's pumping, the lungs are working, the kidneys working, but the brain isn't.
Yeah.
That, I think, would be the worst of all worlds for me. And when you look at the data, what happens to mental functioning and cognitive functioning? Well, It's pretty low and flat until you hit about 75, and then it really goes up. At 75, about 30% of people either have mild cognitive impairment or frank dementia. And then by 80, it's up to 40%. All right? I don't want to be in that group. That's what that article was about. And what the article said is, look, I'm happy to live. I'm happy, if I got cataracts to get them replaced. If I need a surgical procedure to improve my hearing, happy for that. But I don't want a treatment where the justification for the treatment is we're going to make you live longer. I just don't want that.
And that's sort of the theme of your book, by the way, we should say, is live well, not just longer. Is that not what you're saying, and eat your ice cream?
Absolutely. Most people, you ask them, do you want quality of life or quantity of life? They say quality of life. And that I'm trying to tell you how to have that quality of life and live in a healthy manner as long as possible.
So you don't think that JFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., or some of these peptide people, or Kara Swisher's the tech journalist doing a show about living forever, you probably think that they're probably not going to live forever no matter how many push-ups or peptides they take?
That stuff is nonsense. And let me say two things. First of all, we have more people living into their 90s than ever before, even more people who are centenarians living into 100.
Let's
and
hope.
You know what? The top end, living past 120 or so, hasn't budged.
Yeah.
That tells you, you want to live to 150 years? Okay, you can dream about it, but it ain't happening.
Okay.
And the main thing is, one of those big proponents, Brian Johnson, is a guy who I happened to sit next to last, I think, September.
Really? Is he looking
table.
good?
He's actually a nice guy. I liked him. But I asked him the fundamental question. Why do you want to live to 150? And you know what his answer was?
What?
To go back to something Jim said? Silence. Well, when you can't explain why you want to live a long time, there's a problem. If that's your goal in life. Living a long time is a means to an end. It's not the end in itself.
Okay.
And that's
Is this the
my
guy,
view.
Staff saying he's the guy that transfuses his son's blood so he can have younger blood? Oh, my
It's
God.
not on your list. Hey,
Okay.
it is fabulous to see you. We're so glad you stopped by. Do it again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you
Dr.
very
Zeke
much.
Emanuel. And by the way, read the book. The book
It's a
is
great book,
and
yeah.
great tips.
And
read
makes
the
you
book.
feel less
Thank you
guilty
very
about
much.
eating
does.
ice cream, too. We've been talking with Dr. Zeke Emanuel, an American oncologist, bioethicist, senior fellow at the Center for American Progress, current vice provost for global initiatives at the University of Pennsylvania, Jim's alma mater,
Yes,
where he
indeed.
chairs the Department of Medical Ethics and Health Policy. And he's author of this book that we spoke about before, Eat Your Ice Cream. Thank you very much
Great
for
to
coming
see
in
you.
with
It's
us
been
today.
terrific to be here.
Thank you. It's been terrific to talk to you. Coming up after this quick break, ahead of the World Cup tall ships and America 250, we'll speak with President and CEO of Meet Boston, Martha Sheridan. I'm Marjorie Egan. He's Jim Browdy, listening to BPR 89.7 GBH, live from the BPL, streaming at youtube.com/GBH News.
I'm Edgar B. Herwick III. Today on the Curiosity Desk, live from the Boston Public Library, 11 million school-age kids around the country gave it a shot, but only 247 made it to the finals this week in D.C. for the annual Scripps National Spelling Bee. We'll meet two of those remarkable kids, local spelling bee phenoms from Boston and Lynn. That's the Curiosity Desk, today at 1 on GBH 89.7.
Support for our programs comes from you. And Boston Theater Company, presenting Road of Rainbows, a joyful Pride 5K run or walk during Pride Weekend on June 6th on the Boston Common, with costumes, community, and celebration. BostonTheater.org. And Native Plant Trust, more than 125 years of commitment to protecting New England's native plants. More information about how using natives can help mitigate climate change at nativeplanttrust.org.
Welcome back to BPR 89.7 GBH. Marjorie Egan, Jim Browdy, live at the library, streaming youtube.com/GBH News. Governor Reilly joins us for an hour on Tuesday here at the library, 11 to 12. One programming note, in about 10 minutes, we're going to do our annual Scripps Spelling Bee on the air. If you want to start lining up to participate at 877-301-8970, you should. Now, you could say there are at least a few major events happening in Boston over the summer. City's hosting, or sort of the city. Well, it is too. 7 matches of the FIFA World Cup starting in mid-June. Sail Boston, mid-July. the largest maritime celebration apparently ever in the United States. And the America 250 commemorations, we're entering a season sort of unlike any other, at least while I've been here. Here to talk about that is President and CEO of Meet Boston, Martha Sheridan. Meet Boston was previously known as the Greater Boston Convention and Visitors Bureau. More info about events and them, meetboston.com. Hi, Martha. Good to see you.
Nice to be here.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's start with the America 250 commemorations. What's with the hot stuff going on with that?
Well, a lot of it's already happened, as we know. We celebrated the Tea Party anniversary in 2023. We had Paul Revere's ride. I think for us, the capstone of our really 2-year-long 250th celebration is going to be our 4th of July celebration on the Esplanade this year. It happens every year, but this year they've done an extraordinary job. They've put it on steroids. Bob Rivers from Eastern Bank has spearheaded some great fundraising, so they have 3 really great acts. The fireworks and the events in the sky are going to be like nothing before, and it will be broadcast on CNN. So we'll have Boston across the globe on the 4th of July.
Bob Rivers is like Zelig. Let me tell you,
He's
there's
everywhere.
nowhere you turn that he is not supporting something important. So toll ships, I was lucky enough when Roger Berkowitz owned, I think you may have been there, Roger Berkowitz owned Legal. We went to the new place in the seaport on the 3rd floor, and I was a cynic. I thought these ships, who gives a damn? Because Margie and I got stuck on a Russian toll ship. We had to sleep on it one
And Jim
night.
got his head caught in one of those.
Was fly traps.
That's fly traps.
Worst night of my life. Having said
all
that,
these flies in his hair.
despite that, with 4 listeners who hated us, by the way, but that's a whole other story. That tall ship thing was one of the most beautiful, majestic things I've ever seen in my life. So the 11th is what, the parade of sails?
Yes.
Well, what's happening the 11th
Yeah,
and
and we
the
should say we're
16th?
having Dusty Rhodes in.
Who runs Sailboat?
Who runs
Yeah,
Sailboat.
great.
Speaking of iconic,
Yeah.
so don't sleep on tall ships. I'm going to tell you right now. We've all been focusing on, and I mean that literally and figuratively, but we've all been focusing on FIFA, which is important. Obviously, it comes up first for us this summer. Tall ships is going to be spectacular.
Spectacular,
And it's
agreed.
5 days worth of activity. So you do have the parade of sail. That's on the Saturday. But the ships will come into the harbor on Friday. They will do the parade of sail on Saturday. And then they're open for viewing. So if you're coming to the tall ships, you want to come for a few days. You want to bring the kids. You want to watch the parade of sail, watch the fireworks, and then visit as many ships as you can. And it's not just the big, majestic sail ships that we'll be seeing here. There's going to be really interesting gray hulls, as they call them. Right?
What are
those
they?
are
I don't know what
those
they
are
are.
more like the warships and
Oh,
things,
oh.
that are really interesting. The kids would probably love to
those,
see.
yeah.
So, and it's a maritime celebration, so there'll be activities on land. It's going to be magical, and there's a parade of all the cadets, which is going to be fantastic. All the different countries, they'll be in uniform. They'll have bands. It's really going to be magical. So we're really excited.
Speaking of, it's a perfect segue to FIFA, which has so far not been quite as full of
Magical?
happiness, magical as this. And you'll tell us why we're wrong. Hopefully we are. But how about international travelers to all these things? Are we hear international travel is down dramatically, obviously, since the re-election of Donald Trump. Is that a worry of yours come these next 6 weeks?
It's definitely impacted what we thought the
8
original
weeks.
numbers would be
Yeah.
for sure. And we track international visitation regularly. Canada obviously has been on the decline for a year and a half now. That started to level off a little bit. And European countries, they're coming. We're sort of down a few points there, but it's a challenge. I mean, getting visas is a challenge. People are afraid of the immigration process here,
Yeah.
getting through immigration at airports. But we're here to say Boston's different, right? And while it is down in the country, Boston's not down as far. So I guess that's what we call the new positive, right? Because people do value what we stand for in Boston. So I think they feel more comfortable coming here than perhaps other parts of the U.S. So we haven't seen the declines as much as the country at large. But yeah, it's definitely impacting us, and it will impact visitation this
That's
summer.
Martha Sheridan from Meet Boston, by the way.
But there's been a lot of tough stuff in the globe about how, Philadelphia is given this huge welcome and they've got, cheaper tickets and cheaper fares. And here people are complaining they can't afford to go to the FIFA games. It's going to cost them a lot of money. The sense that we haven't really done what we should about.
Yeah, I'm gonna push back on that.
I had a
little
feeling
bit,
you might,
only
Martha.
because I've been intimately involved in this event. I was a part of the bid process. I've been engaged for 5 years. We have an incredible team working on our behalf at Boston 26. These are experts. These are people who've worked on events across the globe. They absolutely know what they're doing. They were able to secure millions and millions of dollars in security money, not just for Boston, but for every U.S. city hosting. They spearhead spearheaded that effort. As far as the Philadelphia comparison, no two cities are alike. Everyone's going to do things differently. Everyone has different funding models, different public funding structures. Philly is a great city. They have some good stuff going on. I will tell you, if their tickets are cheaper, it's because they don't have the quality of matches that we have. And I'm not intimately familiar with what their draw is. Boston has one of the best draws in the country.
Yeah, but Mamdani also negotiated a deal where there are 1,000 tickets per game that are affordable. Like, I mean, for example, we're not going to just berate you about the negative. Don't worry, because
thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, maybe we will. You know, for example, Governor Reilly announced the end of last week that these viewing permits for these watch parties, which I think are fabulous if you're not going to the games, they were held up by FIFA. They'd be licensed this week. Have they happened? It's Friday.
A whole trough of them just got announced.
Oh, they did
this
today?
week.
Oh,
100%,
fabulous. Oh, that's great.
So they have happened. And believe it or not, there were a lot of requests. So if you multiply the number of requests they got from the Boston area and Providence by the 16 cities, I'm sure FIFA had a lot of work to do with Fox to approve all of these licenses. And it is about vetting sponsorships, et cetera. So I know it's not as easy as it sounds. But the good news is a lot of cities, a lot of regional fan zones are all set, and they will be broadcasting.
Okay, so this is the last negative thing from me. This is anecdotal, I admit. A lot of the people in the small world in which I travel are thrilled about toll ships. They're really excited about all the July 4th stuff, particularly Keith Lockhart and the Esplanade. There is not, and this anecdotal, I admit, there's not quite the same level of excitement about FIFA, even among friends who are soccer fans. Are you, I mean, beyond, you're not seeing this,
only
really?
because I'm so involved in it. And I got to tell you, if you go on Facebook or any social media channel, you follow these fan groups that are coming to Boston.
Yeah.
Once they start arriving, I can guarantee you this city is going to be excited about FIFA.
I hope that's
So if people want to know tall ships, what's going on, Sail Boston, the whole FIFA, the whole thing, they go to meetboston.com.
Yes.
Explains like where you want to go to see the tall ships, the viewing sites, and all that kind
It's
of
all
stuff.
there.
Yeah, because if you think you're just driving down to Castle Island, it might be kind of crowded on that day, so you better plan ahead. So meetboston.com is where we go.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very
Are
much.
you upbeat in your normal life or just in your professional life?
I think I'm pretty upbeat in my normal life.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place then. Let me tell you, Martha. No, it's really good to have you.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Anytime.
on your work.
Anytime.
Good luck
so
with
much.
everything. Hope it all is good. We've been speaking with President and
well.
CEO of Meet Boston, Martha Sheridan. More info again, meetboston.com. June 11th, Dusty Rose is doing the tall ships. He's going to be with us to explain about that as well. Martha Sheridan, thank you so much
See you,
for
Martha.
being
Thank
here.
you. It's my
Coming up
pleasure.
after this quick break, we're going to open the lines for our annual Boston Public Radio Spelling Bee.
So
Call
excited.
in if you think you are smarter than a 10-year-old who's been training their entire life for the moment to take the stage and spell some word you've never heard of, never mind have any idea how to spell. I'm Marjorie Egan. He's Jim Brady. This is BPR 89.7 GBH live from the BPL, streaming at youtube.com/GBH News.
This week on Under the Radar with Callie Crossley, they're small, red, and bitter, and one of the quintessential native fruits of North America. In honor of our ongoing celebration of America's 250th anniversary, we're boiling down the long history of Massachusetts cranberries. That's Under the Radar with me, Callie Crossley, Sunday night at 6 here on 89.7 GBH and the GBH app.
Our programs are made possible thanks to you and the University of Massachusetts Amherst. UMass, the state's flagship public research university, empowers students to be the future in the pursuit of progress for Massachusetts and beyond. More at umass.edu. And Cambridge Trust, a division of Eastern Bank, proud to support the Boston Business Journal Minute, Friday mornings at 6:45 and 8:45 on GBH's Morning Edition. More at cambridgetrust.com.
Welcome back to BPR 89.7 GBH. Marjorie Egan, Jim Browdy, live at the library, streaming youtube.com/GBH News. Ask the Governor, Governor Reilly, for an hour on Tuesday, 11 to 12. This is one of our favorite times. It's time for our annual BPR Spelling Bee. As I'm sure you know, this year's official Scripps competition ended in this rapid-fire spell-off yesterday to break a tie. Here it is.
Rishi Arias.
R-E-T-I-A-R-I-U-S.
Belinda Walk.
B-L-I-N-T-A-W-A-K. T-S-S-A-R-A-C-O-N-T-E-R.
Torika Thapsia.
T-A-U-R-O-K-T-H-A-P-S-I-A.
Okay, that's Shrey Parikh. He's a 14-year-old kid from California who spelled 32 of those words correctly in 90 seconds
Oh, my God.
to be crowned King Bee. It's time for our own little competition. We do it every year. Think he can handle some of the actual words from the actual contest. We'll give you a word from the Scripps Spelling Bee list and see if you can outspell the best of the best. If you win, well, we don't have any prizes because they just defunded public radio. So we'll do the best we can. 877-301-8970. By the way, on the show after us, Curiosity Desk, Edgar is going to talk to two of the Massachusetts competitors from the Scripps Spelling Bee.
Okay.
So stick around for that. The number is 877-301-8970. Now I'm going to test you to begin with while we're waiting for calls.
I'm sure I'll know how to spell
Here's
words I've never
Here
heard
it
of.
is. Here is the word that actually I've heard you use, so you should know how to use it. Wensleydale. Can you use Wensleydale in a sentence?
Wensleydale.
It's a mild
Is that cheese
white...
from... It was on Wallet
No,
and Gromit.
that's a different... Wallace and Gromit. It's not that.
Was it Wensleydale
No,
cheese?
Actually, it is a cheese, which is incredible, but that's not it.
Okay.
Wensleydale is actually spellable. You could do this. Wensleydale.
Wensleydale. Wensleydale.
Oh, my God.
There we go.
That has never happened in 27 years.
Okay, but you know something? That isn't a really
Give me
hard
one.
word.
I'll get
Okay,
it then.
Listen to this.
I'll do it. Go ahead.
Okay. Fossiliferous.
That's easy.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's easy.
Okay.
F-O-S-S-I-L-F-E-R-O-U-S.
Well, you were close.
That's good.
S-I-L-I-F. I don't know if you got that right or wrong, Jim. I don't know. I get so confused.
I think I got it wrong. The number's
you get it wrong or
877.
right, you know?
Who
you
cares?
got it wrong. Okay.
877-301-8970.
And you know
No,
what else?
no.
You know what else?
No.
They only give them $50,000
I don't
if they
care
win.
what they give them.
After all this,
Well,
they
by
should
the way,
give them a
the-
college education.
The parents are torturing these kids for their first 14 years, too.
Well, Edgar B. Hurt III is going to dispute that when he has the...
Okay, so here is the primary reason we do the Scripps Spelling Bee with you every year, not just because it's fun, but because one of the greatest sound bites that's in our top 5 is a kid in 2014. He was 15 years old at the time. His name was Jacob Williamson.
Oh, this is awful.
He was certain that he knew how to spell Kabara Goya, and here's what happened. The judge first and then Jacob.
Kabara Goya.
Kabara Goya. I know it. I know it. I totally know it. Okay. Kabara Goya. C-A-B-A-R-A-G-O-Y-A. Kabara Goya. What?
Oh, I mean, that is
Poor
really
kid.
sad.
He's been studying since he was 3
I
years old, and he
know.
gets the word wrong and thinks he gets it right. I mean, that's the problem with these things. It's a
Jacob
little bit-
has never gotten a job after that. I mean, it's just been all downhill for
But
little
you know,
kids.
President Trump should look at these finalists. You know why?
Why?
Because you look at the kids that are heading into the finals. I think 2 of them have names that sound like they are American names.
A lot of
people that
kids
have
were
been
not
here.
born in this country. That's true.
They were
I
either
read
they are
that.
immigrants themselves,
Yeah.
or their parents, or their grandparents are, and you know, and some of them are from places that the president calls S-hole countries, and yet they are these little geniuses that could be starting companies and doing great things in the United States.
Can I
of
say
America.
one thing to you, if you don't mind?
What?
I know it. I know it.
87.
I
Thank you.
totally know it.
877-301-8970.
He's never going to live that down, you know.
Don't be scared, by the way. We're relatively nice. And let me tell you what we do. We ask you a hard word. They're categorized. And if you don't get it right and you're a nice person, we'll actually give you a medium word from the Scripps competition. So don't hesitate to call. Don't be nervous. This will be perfectly fine. One of us won't ridicule you. 877-301-8970. Can I tell you something? I think, oh no, I left one of the L's out. There are 2 L's in fossiliferous. I got every other word.
Yeah, you were very
right.
close. You were very
That's
close from
enough, yeah.
fossiliferous. I mean, who goes around talking about fossiliferous? Do you know what it means?
Well, I do because
Well,
I just
actually,
read it.
this makes sense. Contains fossils.
Fossils, yeah.
That does
That's
seem-
why it's
that does
fossiliferous,
seem-
by the way.
And Wensleydale contains cheese.
By the way, what is the name of the cheese like Wensleydale? But is it Wensleydale and Wallace and Gromit?
I don't know. My kids love those shows. That's
Oh,
how I
they're
remember.
brilliant. It's like claymation kind of thing or whatever it is.
If you haven't seen it, your kids are little, or even if you're grown up, they're pretty good.
Okay, what is wrong with you people?
877-301-8970. A texter wants to know if Harriet Heinemann would have thrown a spelling bee word in order to win the heart of Jim Browdy.
She could really spell, and she was only 13 at the time. She could really
When
spell.
are we going to hear from Harriet Heinemann, Jim?
Maybe soon, maybe not. You don't know. Some of us are working on it, but you're not aware. And now here is Jamie.
Wensleydale is Wallace's absolute favorite cheese in the Wallace and Gromit series. That's how I recognized it from the Wallace and Gromit thing. And listen, one of our Jamie apparently lost his 5th grade spelling bee in the first round. He was asked to spell calm, and he confidently spelled it clam.
Oh, my God. If you had told us during the interview process, none of this would have happened. Oh, my God.
Okay,
that is humiliating.
Are we ready to take some calls?
Yeah, let's start.
Let's start with Ray in Boston.
Hi, Ray. How are you?
Hi, Ray.
Good.
Are you nervous or not?
Pretty good.
Are you nervous?
Guyan of nervousness, yes.
Okay. Marjorie's going to ask you a question because she's kinder than me. Go ahead.
All right, you ready? You ready, Ray?
Okay.
Okay, here's a word. Apocryphal.
Oh, that's doable. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Apocryphal.
You got it.
Oh my
Apocryphal.
God.
Doubtful of authenticity. That's very, very good. Congratulations,
How does that
Ray.
make you feel that you got that right, Ray? Tell the truth.
Do I get more?
You want another
actually,
one?
let's give him because
okay,
he's obviously.
We'll give you another one. Effleurage.
Oh, you're done, Ray.
Well, the thing is, that's French.
That's right.
That's not English.
That's right.
Well, no, it's
Effleurage.
actually English too. What is he arguing with the host?
No,
I mean, come on.
I think it's a French derivation.
It is. It's a light stroking movement. Ooh, excuse me, used in massage.
That's right. We all know all about that.
I'll tell you about that.
That's right.
Okay, Ray. How do you spell it? Go ahead.
Effleurage.
What is your deal?
Okay. Are you cheating, Ray?
No, how do I cheat in this?
You're a genius.
Look the words up on your phone.
Ray, we've been doing this for a quarter century. No one has ever gotten 2 in a row right until you. Congratulations. Jamie's going to send you nothing in return for... Ray, that was brilliant. It was a great start.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
That was really impressive.
What a good speller he is.
Really
Do
incredible.
you know, I didn't know that we spell words wrong in the English language all the time.
What does that mean?
Because, like, why do we say recipe? It should be, it's R-E-C-I-P-E, right?
I know how
It
to
should
spell
be
it, yeah.
like receipt. Why do we have a B in
God.
doubt? We add all these other things because other languages get mixed in, like Latin or German, the European languages. We're not.
You sound like Donald Trump. Most people don't know there's a B in dumb.
Yeah,
you get rid of the B and it's Democrat. I mean, what are you talking about?
In Finland, they speak phonetically.
Are we in Finland?
No.
So who cares? I mean, really.
I'm pointing out that the English language is very difficult.
Oh.
It is very difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, they're much more straightforward.
Oh, really?
With people in Finland.
Finland.
Okay, let's go to Martha in Boxborough.
Thank you.
Hi, Martha.
Hi. Let me take you off of. Hi.
Now,
Hi,
before
how are
Marjorie
you?
gives you a word, Martha, how well do you speak Finnish? You don't?
I think we're finished here.
Oh, but I'm bummed. Thank you.
Very good.
Now, Marjorie, do not give her an easy word. Give her one of the hard words to start, and then if she doesn't get that, we'll move to the medium hard.
Okay. This is a tough one. Pooch or putch. It is a noun, a secretly plotted, I can't even pronounce it, and suddenly executed attempt to overthrow a government. A putch.
What is it?
Wow.
It's
I
hard.
used to have a good vocabulary. P-U-C-H-E?
That's a very, very excellent guess. It's P-U-T-S-C-H, but that was a really hard one.
Martha, if I were you, I'd call Ray.
Want one that's
Now-
not... Want another one?
Give her another one. You give her a medium
This
one.
is from the medium hard.
These are all
list.
actual words, though, from
Yep.
the, whatever you call it, the Scripps spelling,
okay.
whatever the thing is.
Dubiously.
D-U-B-I-O-U-S
Excellent. Excellent.
That was
Very
really good. Martha, congratulations.
That's called a medium word.
Thank you.
Putsch was a hard word.
Yes,
Wensleydale
thanks,
and
Martha.
fossiliferous were on the hard word list, and dubiously is on the medium list. Okay.
Did you do spelling bees when you were in school?
No.
Oh.
Did you?
I don't remember, but I
Yeah.
don't think so.
We had to do the times tables. We had to race to do the times
Multiple-
tables.
multiplication, we
yeah,
call them.
multiplication tables. They
So
were very useful.
The number's 877-301-8970 if you want to participate like the first few very courageous callers did in our version of the Scripps Spelling Bee. Next would be Sean in Groveland, and apparently Marjorie is giving the words. Sean, are you ready or you're not ready?
Let's do this.
Oh, whoa, I like your
wow,
attitude.
okay.
I like that. Go ahead.
Okay, here we go, Sean. Thaumaturge, a performer of thaumaturgy, a performer of miracles, or a musician.
SALMATURG.
You were close. You were close. But you know, it's hard because it's not. See, that's what I'm pointing about English. Words don't sound. They don't spell phonetically too many times in English. It is THAUMATURGE. Want a medium one, Sean?
Sure.
Say yes. Good.
Okay. Here's a medium one. Pearlescent, having a pearly luster.
PEARLESCENT.
Woo! Nice job. Nice job.
Really?
Pearlescent. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, we get another good speller there, Sean. Thank you very much.
Is this like a totally
for
new
calling.
audience this year? This is like a totally
One of the
different
texters
experience.
wants you to spell the plural of potato.
Is Dan Quayle available? We can talk to him and find out how to spell potato.
You going to spell it? The plural.
Well, because now I'm nervous. Did he add an E to it, and he corrected the kid who spelled it correctly? This is Dan Quayle, former vice president for George H.W. And I believe there is no E. Am I right, or did I screw that up?
I'm looking it up.
Does anybody know? Does anybody in the audience know? Is there an E in the plural of potatoes? Our
there is
audience
an E.
is clueless, too.
There
It's
is an
okay.
E.
There is an E?
I think so.
Well, that's sort of what I meant to
Yeah.
say. That is really sad. Thanks for
Okay.
humiliating me, by
I'm
the
sorry.
way.
I'm sorry. That was a texter, Jim.
Remember when Dan Quayle was in front of the United Negro College Fund, and he was trying to recite what their slogan was?
Mhm.
And he says, like that old slogan from the United Negro College Fund, what a waste it is to lose one's mind or not to have a mind at all. How true that is.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, he and W. Bush had a few issues there along those lines. Let's go to Bob in Providence. Hi, Bob in
Hey,
Providence.
Bob, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Now, how do you sound very casual, like you feel good about this whole thing. Do you, or is that not true?
No, I don't.
Okay, good.
I'm willing to humiliate myself on public radio.
I like your style, my friend. Go ahead.
Okay, am I giving a word now?
No, you're giving all the words, apparently.
Oh, I'm giving. Oh, you go, feel
No,
free.
I
Give a
feel
word.
no. You're excited about it, so you do it. Good.
Okay, Chastushka.
Pardon me?
Chastushka, a rhymed vogue verse, usually of 4 lines, traditional in form, but often having political or topical content.
You know what'll help you, Bob?
Can I
Let me make a suggestion. If you repeat the word, it builds your confidence. So
Chastushka.
repeat the word.
Is Chaz Tushka?
Close
Tushka.
enough.
Is that what it is?
Not really. but that's
Chastushka.
fine. Chastushka.
Tushka.
Go ahead. Take it away.
Oh, okay. It sounds like a foreign word, though. It sounds like
It is.
Okay. Let's say CHAS.
Yeah.
TUZA.
Yeah.
Well,
can
you
I
were
tell
so
you?
close, so close.
No, but wait a second. Even though it's wrong, I like your style, so that's good. You were right. That's fine.
But I
What?
tried.
No, you did.
You did
Let's
try.
give you a
Hold
simpler
on.
one.
We want to spell it for him.
Oh, please.
CHASTUSHKA. You give the next word, Jim.
Oh, thank you, Marjorie. I
Okay, go
appreciate
ahead.
it.
We're moving down to the medium
Now,
difficulty.
have you ever used the word malacology in a sentence, Bob? Yes or no?
No, I haven't.
Perfect.
That's
it is
not
a
an
branch.
easy one.
But I will from now on.
It's a branch of zoology dealing with mollusks, as you, I'm sure, know. Malacology, actually, I'll give you a hint, is spelled exactly like it sounds. So take it away.
Okay.
Malacology. Go ahead.
Malacology.
Yeah.
Okay, so MALACHOGHOLY.
By the way,
So
let me
close.
just say, even though that was not even close, you're a really good guy, and we appreciate
And he's got a
you
wonderful accent.
participating.
Where are you from, Bob? Oh, Bob is gone.
Bob's gone.
He sounds
upset.
like he's from.
Now, what's
Great
his name?
Britain.
Edgar B. Herrick III is here.
Hey,
Now, you
everybody.
have two of the champion spellers on.
We do. We have two of the champion spellers on with two local folks, which is amazing. Did you watch last night?
No.
It was incredible.
Well,
the spell off was unbelievable.
Yeah, there's something bizarre
These
about
kids are
that.
amazing, though. My favorite of the finalists, there was this one kid who would come up and he'd get his word. You know, the pronouncer would be like, Sparfageblad. And he would be like, oh, yeah, does that have something to do with Portugal? And he'd be like, a region in Portugal. Like, this kid was, he not only was he spelling them right, but he would, like, get out in front of it and be like, are you talking about, is that a tree in West Africa? And the guy's like, it is a tree in West Africa. I was like,
Wow.
what is with this
And they're
kid?
like 11 or 12.
They're younger. They're as young as
Okay.
like 9.
We're running out of time.
God.
Yes.
Allelopathy. Allelopathy, quickly.
Allelopathy.
Allelopathy.
ALLALOPATHY.
Ding, ding, ding. Thank you very much.
Okay, we
We're
promised
out
this
of time.
crowd shout out.
Yeah.
This is the wife of Dr. Stuart Bauer, just retired from Children's Hospital in urology after 50 years.
Whoa.
And they're both here today.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
great.
Congratulations. Thank you very much for coming down. Congratulations.
Quickly, what are you doing on the show there, Edgar?
Well, we've got the Spelling Bee champions.
Oh, that's
on the show.
fabulous.
I mean, it's going to be
We
unbelievable.
just talked about that,
A couple of great.
I didn't know if there's anything else. It's like an hour-long
Well,
show.
we're also going to talk with somebody who I know you know well, which is Christina Quinn. She has
I
a
love
brand new
Christina
podcast.
Quinn.
It just dropped yesterday. It's called Fighting Crime, and it's not what you think. It's a look at various aspects of the criminal justice system and what's working and what's not as we try to think about maybe reforming it. But in that great Christina Quinn
Christina
way.
Quinn is
She's unbelievable.
genius.
She's
So
going to be with us. Really
talented.
excited.
Can I tease one thing before we go?
Certainly,
Our
Jim.
friend who's actually got a show here once a month, Tracy Chang, who owns Pagu Restaurant, does these great community things. Tomorrow, noon to 2, they're celebrating AAPI month. I'm going to be there with my kid with brunch and games. Fabulous food. I don't have time to list. Games for kids like Mahjong and a whole bunch of stuff. Go to GoPagu, P-A-G-U, gopagu.com. Fabulous food, fabulous day, 12 to 2 tomorrow. Edgar will be listening.
Thank you, Edgar. And thank you for listening to another edition of Boston Public Radio. Thanks to everybody that came down to the Boston Public Library. Congratulations again to the physician. Keep up with this 24/7 way of our podcast. Check out our TikTok page, Boston Public Radio. On Monday, we're going to be joined, on Monday, Sue O'Connell and Attorney Casey will be hosting for us. Jim and I have the day off. They'll speak with retired federal judge Nancy Gertner Khalil Gibran Mohammed from Princeton, education expert Paul Rebel, and food policy analyst Corby Kummer. Our crew, Zoe Matthews, Nicole Garcia, Hannah Loss, Ariana Gonzalez. Our engineer is John the Claw Parker. Our executive producer is Jamie Bologna. Special thanks to our BPL staff, Maddie Guard, Patrick Lally, Juan Jose Cadena. Our security team, Darius and Derek. Woohoo!
Thank you,
our
guys,
hosts
as always.
at the
You're great.
Newsfeed Cafe and across the street at the Lennox Hotel, the Curiosity Desk with Edgar B. Hurt III, and the Speller starts right after we do here at 89.7 GBH, live from the Boston Public Library studio. And the Culture Show with Jared Bowen starts at 2. They're not here at the library today, but they're on a taped best of today. I'm Marjorie Eden.
When did Khalil Gibran Muhammad change his middle name to Gibran? When did that happen?
Should I say that?
Gibran.
Gibran?
Gibran.
Khalil Gibran Mohammed.
Okay.
Khalil Gibran.
I think so.
Mohammed. Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a
Thank
nice
you for
weekend.
listening.
See
you
you.
later.
Bye. Thank you all.
From the stories of centuries past to discoveries that will define our future, How Did We Get Here's how-tos and more. Journey with us down the rabbit hole on the Curiosity Desk. Coming up next on GBH 89.7.
Support for GBH comes from you. And Bernadine Sung Megason at Dreamega International Realty. dedicated to helping buyers and sellers across Greater Boston, offering market insight and guidance through each step of the process. More at homesbybernadine.com. And Vivo Performing Arts, formerly Celebrity Series of Boston, where Boston stages come alive with classical, jazz, dance, and more. Info on season ticket packages available at vivoperformingarts.org.
You're listening to 89.7 WGBH HD1 Boston. Online at gbhnews.org. GBH News. What matters to you?
I'm Edgar B. Herwick III. Today on the Curiosity Desk, live from the Boston Public Library, it's our newfangled Curiosity Desk Week in Review panel. Yes, our very own menagerie of misfit news, where, among other things, we'll recap the first ever dope-friendly enhanced games that took place this week in Las Vegas. Then we meet the host of a brand new podcast out this week called Fighting Crime, as in true crime and where it intersects with policy and economics. Or to put it another way, a podcast about podcasts about true crime. And finally, 11 million school-age kids around the country gave it a shot, but only 247 made it to the finals for the annual Scripps National Spelling Bee. We'll meet two of those remarkable kids, local spelling phenoms from Boston and Lynn. It's all ahead this hour on the Curiosity DESC. Ah, shucks, on 89.7.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Windsor Johnston. President Trump says he's meeting with his top advisors to make a final determination about the war in Iran. U.S. sources confirmed yesterday that negotiators had reached a deal for a 6-month ceasefire, but Trump still needed to weigh in. NPR's Deepa Shivaram reports.
On Thursday, there was a potential outline for a continued 60-day ceasefire, but the president and Iran had not yet agreed to it. Trump posted on social media Friday, repeating his stance that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon and that the Strait of Hormuz should be opened. The Iran war has gone on for months, tanking the president's approval ratings as his party faces a challenging midterm election year. Trump has gone back and forth in the last several weeks, at times saying he's close to reaching a deal with Iran and saying he'll ramp up attacks once again. Deepa Shivaram, NPR News, the White House.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from moving forward with a nearly $1.8 billion settlement fund tied to claims of government weaponization. The fund would compensate people who say they were politically targeted by the federal government. NPR's Tom Dreisbach reports opponents argue the plan is unconstitutional.
They are presuming that all of the money from this fund will only go to the president's friends and allies, not his perceived enemies like themselves. And so they argue the fund is unconstitutional. They asked a judge to stop it altogether or at least pause it while they're suing. And so a federal judge in Virginia today ordered that the administration do that. They were pausing any action to create this fund or make any payments.
That's NPR's Tom Dreisbach reporting the fund stems from President Trump's lawsuit against the IRS over the disclosure of his tax returns. The director of the World Health Organization has arrived in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is battling an Ebola outbreak. Emmett Livingstone reports workers there are struggling to contain the virus.
According to revised data, authorities have recorded more than 900 suspected cases in 3 provinces and over 220 suspected Ebola deaths. The virus is spreading in a region plagued by armed groups, which is complicating the health response. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus is seeking to rally those confronting the outbreak.
I came here to show that the communities in Ituri, North Kivu and South Kivu, that they're not alone and that we are here to support.
Congo's Health Minister Roger Kamba criticized what he called alarmist views regarding the outbreak, saying Ebola will be stopped within about 6 months. For NPR News, I'm Emmett Livingstone in Kinshasa.
On Wall Street, the Dow crossed the 51,000 mark for the first time today. Right now, it's up 319 points. This is NPR News in Washington.
Good afternoon with the latest from the GBH newsroom in Boston. I'm Craig Lamolt.
A broken elevator at a Boston housing authority complex forced a disabled resident to sleep outside this week. The incident at the Ruth Barkley Apartments in the South End has renewed frustrations about broken elevators in Boston public housing. Stevie Wheels lives on the 6th floor of the Barkley Apartments. He's a double amputee and says he feels unsafe when the elevator is broken and he feels trapped. He decided to sleep outside at South Station where he felt safer.
It was raining, it was cold, it was wet. I'm still flustered off. I can't get out here.
The Boston Housing Authority has been dogged for years by complaints of broken elevators that leave residents stranded. According to BHA policy, tenants should be provided with a hotel room or alternative place to stay if an elevator is broken. The BHA says it's trying to figure out why Wheels didn't get the help he needed. The Boston skyline is going to look a little different for a while starting tonight. The Citgo sign in Kenmore Square is going to go dark for the next 6 months as part of a redevelopment project for the building that the iconic sign sits on. Construction kicked off today and will involve moving the sign 30 feet higher and 120 feet to the east. The sign was first installed in the 1940s as the city's service sign and reinstalled in 1965 as part of the introduction of the Citgo brand. It's the city and state's only federally landmarked sign. Increasing clouds today with highs in the low 70s, some showers tonight and rain tomorrow. High temperatures only getting to around 50. And it should be nicer on Sunday, mostly sunny Sunday with a high around 70. Coming up, it's the Curiosity Desk. This is GBH.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include DuckDuckGo, who believes AI should be optional and private. That's why they created Duck.ai, where users can chat privately with AI. No tracking. Learn more at Duck.ai.
Welcome to the Curiosity Desk on GBH 89.7. I'm Edgar B. Herwick III. We are live at the Boston Public Library, and we're streaming live at youtube.com/GBH News. We begin today with our Week in Review segment called In Case You Missed It. As one of our panelists described it succinctly, it is our menagerie of misfit news from Boston and beyond over this past week. Joining us now live at the BPL, we are joined by Mike Deehan, a reporter for Axios Boston. Also with us, Megan Johnson, a writer and reporter based in Boston who claims to own Whitey Bulger's coffee grinder. Mike, Megan, welcome to the Curiosity Desk. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're going to begin with a story that may have passed by sports fans and non-sports fans alike. And this is, to me, indicative that we are so far down the rabbit hole that not only are The Simpsons regularly predicting the future, but now Saturday Night Live is as well. So I'm going to start with a classic clip from a 1990s Saturday Night Live sketch of the all-drugs Olympics.
Getting ready to lift now is Sergei Akhmudov of the Soviet Union. His trainer has told me that he's taken anabolic steroids, Novocaine, NyQuil, Darvon, and some sort of fish paralyzer. Also, I believe he's had several cocktails within the last hour or so. Akhmudov is getting set now. He's going for a clean and jerk of over 1,500 pounds, which would triple the existing world record. And here he goes. Oh, he's pulled his arms off!
And at that moment, there is blood spurting out everywhere. We, of course, are talking about the so-called enhanced games, which took place in Las Vegas. Where else would it have taken place? What do we make of the Silicon Valley-funded enhanced games? Did we watch? Did we compete? Do we want to compete in the future? Megan, is it on your radar for a future goal?
No, it is not. I'm surprised it is for many people.
I'm all for it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? Take us in to unpack that for us, Mike.
It's the limits of the human experience. it's what we can get to. Extremity is what it's all about. And that's what ESPN is based on, or ESPN3 at least. It's supposed to be extreme. We want extreme sports. Let's pump them full of junk and see what happens.
Dude, we're not troubled by this at all. You're like, go, go, go.
I don't have much belief in the sanctity of sports in general.
Really?
I'm not too big on a sports and competition guy. So, if they're going to hit well, I guess they're not hitting longer home runs in this instance, but if they're jumping higher and lifting more and just doing feats of physicality in ways that were impossible beforehand. And I saw there was a follow-up to this. They're offering something like a $10 million bounty if you can beat Usain Bolt's record.
The idea with this first games is, I mean, and I find this interesting to a certain extent because the money is a part of the draw here, right?
Yeah.
This is a Silicon Valley thing, and it's as much, it seems, a commercial for biohacking and the supplement world that is exploding all around us. And like in this initial version, it was anybody who could beat a world record was going to get $1 million. Yeah. They thought they were going to beat a whole bunch of world records. There was one that one person, the very last event, beat an existing world record. They got $1 million. But now they have doubled down. They said they're coming back in 2027, and if anybody can beat Usain Bolt's record running the 100 meters, they will get $10 million. So go bigger.
Will any of the athletes at the first iteration still be around and competitive for the second iteration?
They've been taken out by all the supplements.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not if Brian Johnson has anything to say about it. So Brian Johnson, I'm going to play some sound from, he's a transhumanist, and he's an all-around weird guy, really. And this is him breaking down the exact drug regimen aspect of the enhanced games in an interview with commentators, which happened during the games. And he's also under an umbrella while he's doing this. Let's hear a little.
Can you break down for our beautiful audience at home what exactly are the athletes taking?
So what they did is they gave each athlete a menu of options: testosterone, the stimulants, growth hormone, metabolic modulators, EPO, derivatives. And what they said is you can take these enhancers, you don't have to, and you can take them up to a certain amount, but not more. By doing that moderation, the athletes could work within the medical framework, and doctors could then oversee the protocols. And what they've seen is pretty remarkable improvements in strength and capacity, so far it's worked.
I love it.
What do you make of the whole sort of transhumanism, biohacking, humans as machine sort of world that is exploding? Megan, do you have thoughts on it?
It's a sharp edge that you could fall off of very painfully. I mean, I think I like the idea of biohacking, and I like the idea of self-improvement and using supplements and everything, but some people are going to take it way too far, and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And I think some of them might be in attendance at this event.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the threat of glorifying something that is dangerous, and as much as they're trying to make it safe with the medical guidelines that we just heard about, certainly people, if there are copycats out there to use this unregulated and unsupervised ways just to go to the gym and, do a squat rack, that's probably not the healthiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But as far as pure spectacle,
you're in.
Yeah.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, let's bring things closer to home. Another story that may have passed folks by. A couple of, I guess I shouldn't say a couple, 3 in particular teenagers, not far from here, apparently tried to climb the iconic weather beacon atop the old John Hancock building, a.k.a. the Berkeley building. This is according to Boston police. What do we know about this? What happened here?
Oh, I'm so proud of them. They want the kids to get off their phones, and they finally did.
Well, I think the best part is they got away.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
That's a teenage dream, running away from the cops and actually getting away. I love it for them.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I've been up there. Have you ever been
I have
up
not.
there?
I have not.
I went
So
up there
you've been
to
up-
take some photos for something at some point a couple years ago.
As a teen.
As a 40-year-old teen. And there's a lot of stairs just to get up to the part where it looked like they then climbed on top. I was inside the lighthouse area that they were climbing on the exterior of, so I didn't get quite as high up as they did. But
so they put in the effort.
They really did. Yeah, to sneak into the building, get all the way up. There was an awful lot of stairs and very sketchy catwalk type things to get up there. So. Yeah,
Youthful indiscretion, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
And again, apparently, it was, the police got reports that this had been happening, right? So they go to the scene, and I think they went to the roof first, and there was there's no sign of a break-in, there's nothing like that. Then they talked to the security guard, and the security guard was like, yeah, 3 teenagers, pushed me over.
Yeah, I know. I feel a little bad for him.
Rushed. So
yeah.
in that regard,
Absolutely,
there's a little bit of
it's certainly... It's not as of pure spirit as the Drug Olympics, but it still has some
I don't
merit
know. We
to
don't
it.
know whether they were enhanced in any
We
way.
don't know. That's why they were doing it.
Just pole vaulted
They
up
just
there.
left the Drug Olympics.
Yes. They still had energy to burn off. So let's climb a building.
Well, you maybe, if somebody is enhanced in an athletic competition, they are tough to beat. But one place you can't beat, apparently, is you can't beat Boston. Now, can't beat Boston, I don't know if folks know this or not, but this is our new slogan here. This is the new slogan here in Boston. Can't beat Boston.
The Red Sox have not been informed.
They have not.
This is the new slogan, apparently.
So let's talk a little bit about this slogan. What is this? Where did it come from? What do we know about this, Megan?
It's so I assumed it came from a large focus panel of people that they were hoping to come up with something that sounded good.
Michelle Wu's closet full of CEOs, I think,
Yeah.
is where it came
was
up
it like
from.
the ocean spray guy?
Yeah, this is from Shirley Young's column in the Globe, I think earlier this week, kind of getting to the origin story of this new slogan and why business people in Boston, Greater Boston, feel the need to have a new marketing term.
Yeah.
And it's not bad as far as a catch-all, because obviously it does kind of sound like a sports slogan right off the bat. And if you're the CEO, you want to advertise the area as far as our not our cost of living, but our style of living, quality of life. I think is the term I'm looking for. Schools, academia, the medicine, obviously all the things that we're known for, and the resiliency of the economy, which is something that they're going to be relying on the next few years. So as a slogan, it's not as bad as some of the specifically tourism-based slogans. Like, if you remember the cooler, warmer Rhode Island slogan from a few years
but I'll
ago?
tell you what I do remember, and we have a little sound, and the remnants of this marketing campaign still exist on our license plates. If you notice, our license plates say Spirit of America on them.
Ooh.
That is based on this campaign. Let's hear a little of the Spirit of Massachusetts.
It's a corner of America, a picture from our past. It's quiet towns and rolling hills where time slows down at last. The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America. The spirit of the red, white, and blue. The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America. The spirit that we want to share with you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That one got sent up on the Family Guy. There was this Family Guy episode where they did it, and it went on like in Family Guy style, right? It went on for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They just kept going. But now this campaign apparently also had a song with it, right?
Yeah.
It did, and that song debuted in January here on this air on Boston Public Radio. That you can't beat Boston, right? So the winning students performed the song on BPR with Jim and Marjorie, right? Yeah. And I want to play a piece of an interview where Jim asked these Berkeley students about their post-graduation plans. Here's what happened.
Here's the key question for the song. When you're done, starting with you going to stay here? Talking to that mic, say yes.
Yes.
Oh, no, are you really? Are you really going to stay here?
I'm going to go to LA, but I'd love to come back here in the future.
Fair enough.
So he's going to LA.
How about you? Are you going to stay here?
I probably also will go to LA or New York, but I still got time to graduate. I might stay here.
She's our only hope. Get over here.
Good luck.
I don't care what the truth is. Say you're going to stay here, okay?
No, I'm going to Mexico.
So there you have it. So, but I do want to talk about that a little bit because one of the things you mentioned Shirley Leung's piece in the Globe, and one of the sort of key quotes that they say came out of this meeting that happened of business leaders here, where they came up with this slogan, was I think it was the CEO of Whoosh, Whoop. Sorry, yes, yeah, Whoop. Thank you for the correction there. He said we don't have a product problem. We have a marketing problem. And I do wonder about a slogan. You kind of stumbled a little bit when you were saying cost of living, but how does that play? I mean, we talk about young people are something that makes a place vibrant, and cost of living is a huge issue here. I mean, how do you grapple with that?
Yeah, you said we don't have a product problem, we have a marketing problem. I don't think that's true. I think we do have a product problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. These kids, well, I mean, obviously they're in the music industry, so I don't think it's anything particularly bizarre that they're going to be going to LA, New York, or Nashville. That's where all the Berkeley kids move. But, we have a product problem because normal people can't afford to live here.
Yeah. We can complain about the tea. We can complain about bar hours and late night activities and stuff like that. But when it comes down to your rent is $3,000 for a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
That's going to make it hard for anybody aside from a mid 6 figures biotech bro. When the city can only be lived in by people well into the 6-figure salary range, and middle-class people are just completely priced out. I mean, this is the story of Boston for the last 25 years. It gets hard to maintain the kind of culture that these companies are trying to advertise and trying to pivot on to get people to come and work for their companies.
Yeah. This is the Curiosity Desk. We're running through some misfit headlines right now with reporters Axios' Mike Deehan and freelance journalist Megan Johnson. Well, I mean, you sort of, speaking of like young people, speaking of the tea doesn't run late and the bars don't stay open late, we have the World Cup coming to town here. And bars opening late, maybe not around here while the World Cup is happening. Where do things stand with this, and what do we make of whether or not we ought to be doing this, and whether we're doing it too late?
Yeah. This is in my wheelhouse because this is a bill on Beacon Hill right now. That actually moved into committee the other day. I was shocked that they're doing something. I wouldn't be surprised if this does pass.
So what is the bill?
Sorry. So because of the way Massachusetts is, let's just put it that way, most alcohol regulation has to go through the state legislature and get signed off by the governor. So it has to be a law change, essentially, to stay open past 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever, and that's town by town, whatever. So in order to allow these parties to go on, and some of these games, these West Coast games are going to go, they're going to start at like 11 p.m.
Oh, that's a good point.
So on the East Coast, there will be parties till 5, 6 in the morning if they could. And if the bars aren't open and available, they're going to be losing out on a lot of that, call it economic activity. So this bill would allow extended hours basically in Massachusetts, Boston in particular, so that people can party during the World Cup. It's something that the legislature's got to get a move on and pass before they break at the end of the summer. But it looks like the bill is kind of on the move.
Yeah, and Rhode Island has done this, right? They also seem to be moving at the last minute, but it looks like that has advanced in Rhode Island. So they're going to extend hours in Rhode Island, but it's still unclear if it's going to happen here in Boston. Do you have a take on this, Megan?
I'm for this. I think this would be a really good idea. I do not want to be in a bar at 3 a.m. I want people to have the option to be in a bar at 3 a.m. I think it would be good. I mean, they're trying so hard to drum up attention for the World Cup. And I mean, obviously millions, the number is what, like 4 million people are going to be coming into the city for this. But among the people who live here, a lot of people are just like, we don't care about soccer. But this could get people out there and, wanting to have fun. So I'm for it.
You're for it?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it, Mike?
I mean, there's been so much debate and dialogue about bar hours and really just the old Massachusetts blue laws around alcohol sales in general that need to be looked at and reformed.
Do you think it's an issue of laws or is it an issue of culture? Do you know what I mean? Like if the laws weren't in place,
it's a little chicken and egg because
combo platter.
Take the happy hour bills for instance. People say, well, if we had happy hour, people would like it more. And then the people say, the opposition there is, well, people don't want it, so we don't have it. And you're always going to get that chicken and egg problem. And when it comes to Beacon Hill, they're not going to move on things if they don't have to, and there's not a huge demand for it. Could there be a big alcohol, reform bill sometime? Yeah, definitely. And they could look at this in a more, complete way. But I wouldn't hold my breath, certainly.
Mm. Well, let's turn our attentions overseas to a story that folks may have missed. And this is in Bangladesh. And if you're down here at the library, you can check out the screens. If you're watching us on YouTube, I'm going to bring a picture up here on the screen. This is a buffalo in Bangladesh. And now this buffalo was set to be sacrificed. This is for Eid there in Bangladesh, which is an Islamic holiday, and they were going to sacrifice this buffalo. But the person who bought this buffalo, who was going to sacrifice it, his younger brother gave this buffalo a nickname, and that nickname was Donald Trump. The reason being the hair, as you can see on the buffalo there, reminded the owner's younger brother of Donald Trump. So it got the nickname Donald Trump, then apparently became a little bit of a viral sensation in this town in Bangladesh. People started to come and see it. And now it looks like the buffalo will not be sacrificed. The home minister has stepped in and said, well, we can't sacrifice this buffalo. They're now going to take it. It's going to go to the National Zoo in Dhaka. What do we make of this story? I am not 100% convinced that this is real, right? This is the world we live in now, where I was like, I saw this and I was like,
is this the
isn't
Onion?
real, right?
I went on Getty to make sure the pictures were real,
Really?
and they are.
And they are.
So yeah, I did this yesterday. This came across. Someone sent it to me, or I found it. I was at the State House. I immediately popped out of my chair, went to Katie Lannon's desk, the State House reporter for WGBH, and I said, "Holy crap, Katie, you got to look at this this bull that looks like Donald Trump." And yeah, it's uncanny. And I'm sorry for anyone who's just listening to the audio of this without the visuals. You got to go look.
How
up
would you
this
describe,
cow.
Megan? How would you could you describe that for our listeners? Who
He
can't
has
see it?
I believe the word is coiffure. Like, it is a cascading hair. And in the photos online, it does look much blonder. Yeah. Like,
there you go.
he has a good swoop. Like, when you see that, you're like, that's a man with a good head of hair. But it's a...
It's buffalo.
Buffalo.
It's a okay.
Yeah. So I'm so happy for him.
For the buffalo?
Yeah, he's living his truth.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're feeling good about it.
I'm really happy for
What do
him.
you want us to say? I hope he got sacrificed.
Yeah, I hope he goes to death. I'm happy for him. This is a special moment. It's like their version of Punxsutawney Phil.
It is. I was thinking it reminds me also of the turkey that gets pardoned.
Yes, okay, that's better because we don't eat Punxsutawney Phil. That's a better one.
Well, you don't eat Punxsutawney.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't. I'm from Pennsylvania. People in Pennsylvania can get pretty weird,
Yeah.
and they will eat just about anything to get their hands on. No, but one thing I do like about this story is that when you think about doing something right, it's like this was a fairly expensive buffalo for this, and this was purchased, and this guy wanted to use it for a sacrifice. It was meaningful to him. So when the home minister stepped in and said, "You're not allowed. I am pardoning this buffalo," they paid the guy back, which I think that's doing things the right way. They said, "Here's the money for the buffalo that you bought," and then they're going to take it and put it in the National Zoo, which also, by the way, I think is a good idea because it sounds like if people were flocking to see this thing,
Right,
little
this is a
business for the zoo,
attraction
little
now.
more business for the zoo.
Yes,
Yeah,
bringing
like
the business
like
to
that
the
little
zoo.
hippo.
Exactly.
Wait, what little hippo?
Moodang.
Wait, what?
Moodang.
Remember the miniature
Tell me more.
hippo? Oh, yeah.
Moodang. He has a name.
I'm sorry, Moodang.
I missed that one.
A viral sensation, baby
Yeah,
hippo.
he
a
is
couple
just
years
a
ago.
star of social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Google it, everyone.
I think they're still going to sacrifice a buffalo.
Yeah.
I think there will be many
Someone's
buffalo.
going to
The
die.
less
Yeah,
lucky
okay. I just wanted
buffalo
to
is
be,
going
be
to
clear on
the
that.
death.
All right, one final story before I let you go. Are you car people?
No.
No, it took me a third try to get a license.
Really? What
Yeah.
happened the first two times?
Backing into a parking space is not as easy as you think.
Well, the car does that for you now.
Well, yes, things have changed. Things have changed.
Or you can buy off the statey.
Whoa.
There was a scandal. It's a real thing. It happened.
Tell us more.
No, it was a couple years ago. I think where was it? I forget which city it was. But the state police conduct the thing, and there was a paid
For people getting driver's licenses?
Yeah, I think it was more in like the commercial license.
I was
sphere.
that desperate.
Yeah,
so
I don't remember.
You would have done it if you had the cash.
The
It was
details
very
of it.
devastating as a 16-year-old in driver's ed.
Yes.
Well, all right, so neither of you are car people, but do you make anything of the Ferrari's first EV? This is the Luce, and it's apparently folks are not very happy about it. That Ferrari has brought their first EV to the fore. Their stock immediately went down, and a former head of Ferrari warned that they may be entering into the destruction of a legend.
Wow.
I'm not entirely sure what their customer base looks like. It's probably very particular,
Yes, it
wealthy
is.
people who have
You don't
a lot
make that
of
much money in
Yeah.
your job at Axios?
No.
You're not in the Ferrari market?
I'm not quite
EV or
in the
otherwise?
Ferrari. Yeah, I'm still struggling with the cost of living that we were discussing before. But yeah, I don't know if it's just the politics of it, or they think that their brand is going to be tarnished if you're a Ferrari lover. But it seems a little silly to abandon a brand because they're putting out a modern version of it. But
I think a lot of those like very highly specialty car collectors look negatively towards the electric cars. Like I know Jerry Seinfeld does, and he's got hundreds of cars.
Right.
So maybe they just need to get used to it. But I think that it's a good idea because it's something I was learning. They're trying to create Ferrari as more of like a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
So that's why they now have like a Ferrari, I believe, restaurant and all that stuff. So I'm for it.
All right. For it. Very good. Well, that's great. We've been speaking with Axios Boston's Mike Deehan and freelance journalist Megan Johnson. You can follow both of them on X. Megan's at Megan Sarah HJ, and Michael Deehan is at Deehan. That's Deehan. Megan, Mike, thank you for taking the time to join us here at the library and on the Curiosity Desk.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
After a quick break, a new podcast out this week all about true crime and not in the way you're thinking about. Curious? Stay with us. This is the Curiosity Desk on GBH.
I'm Jared Bowen. Today on The Culture Show, Bobby Brown. The makeup maven and entrepreneur joins us to talk about her new book, Still Bobby. A candid, colorful reflection on beauty, aging, reinvention, and staying true to yourself. From the early days of her iconic brand to her latest ventures, she's redefining what it means to be authentic in a filtered, airbrushed, Botoxed world. That and more on The Culture Show today at 2 on 89.7 GBH.
Support for our programs comes from you.
And the University of Rhode Island's College of Business with an online Master's of Science in Supply Chain Management designed to prepare students to develop resilient and flexible supply chain strategies. uri.edu/MS Supply Chain. And Harvard Museums of Science and Culture, 4 museums a short walk from Harvard Square, with exhibits ranging from stunning glass flowers to ancient Egyptian mummy cases. Learn more at hmsc.harvard.edu.
You are listening to the Curiosity Desk on GBH 89.7. I am Edgar B. Herwick III. We are live at the Boston Public Library and streaming live at youtube.com/GBH News. Now, if you have ever wondered whether our criminal justice system actually works, not just for victims, but for everyone, you are not alone. Host Christina Quinn has spent the last several months digging into that question for her brand new podcast, Fighting Crime, which launched yesterday. She has spent time inside of prisons. She's talked with formerly incarcerated people, correction officers, academics, and economists to uncover new insights, analysis, and ideas. And we are joined now at the library by Christina Quinn. You also know her as a longtime host of the podcast Try This with the Washington Post. And before that, her time as a reporter a little closer to home right here at GBH. You can check out the first episode of Fighting Crime wherever it is you listen to your podcast. But for now, Christina Quinn, congratulations on the launch and welcome to the Curiosity Desk.
Thank you, Edgar B. Herwick III. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Have you here. Okay, so I think I get it with the clever title, Fighting Crime, but it's not really the way you think it is. But tell us a little bit, what is the kernel of the idea of this podcast here?
So we're sort of taking the idea of true crime podcasts and sort of turning it on its head a little bit. So, everyone is sort of wrapped up in this true crime podcast.
People tend to like it,
People tend to like it, but what's often missing from the discussion is sort of what's being done to prevent crime, what's being done to address the criminal justice system as it is right now. And there are a bunch of different researchers out there doing really incredible work, but their work is often sort of like locked up in academia, and we don't really hear about it. And so
the old ivory tower.
The old ivory towers, if you will. And so that's why that's one of the things that we're hoping to unearth and share with listeners in a way that's accessible.
Yeah. How did this project come together? Where did the idea come from? How did this thing get pulled off?
Yeah. So Arnold Ventures is a philanthropy, if you will, a philanthropy, and they are the ones who are behind this. This is a project that is very near and dear to their hearts, because they are very much focused on criminal justice reform and other things like lowering the cost of drugs and so on. And so I'm actually working, however, with an amazing team of producers that are all based in London. And so
in London?
Yes.
Oh,
So they're
amazing.
all it's Indio Media. They are all former BBC journalists who
so they're coming with the big guns.
They're
so
coming
to
with the
speak.
big guns, but what's really interesting is that, like, because I'm one of the few Americans working on this team, and I'm working with a team who's across the pond. It's really great that we sort of are able to work on this project because one side of this team is bringing in a different perspective that is not necessarily through this American lens in which I'm living in.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. I mean, I can remember when I was in college, I studied abroad in Ireland, and one of the classes that I took while I was over there was about the American Civil War, and it was deeply eye-opening to be in another country. The professor was from Australia. He's teaching this class in Ireland about the American Civil War, and just this perspective that was not through the American lens, without much of the baggage that comes with the American experience, was absolutely fascinating. So I wonder, we talk about the criminal justice system, which is obviously incredibly complicated, and especially for those of us here in America. But these are people in another country looking at it. That's got to be eye-opening.
It is eye-opening, and for example, I mean, I've been learning a lot more about the experience of correctional officers, which is not something that you really think about too much.
Yeah.
And I think we often hear about sort of the inmate experience, which is something that we're also doing a deep dive in. And so it's interesting when I'm speaking to my producers, and they're like, "Well, let's talk about the corrections officers." And I mean, just that right there is something that we can actually get into. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get all right. So let's get into this a little bit. The first episode has dropped. Do we want to talk about that one a little bit?
We can talk about that. So the first episode just dropped, and it's looking at the experience of formerly incarcerated people trying to re-enter the workforce.
Yeah.
And the real challenge is often they can't get a job.
Yeah.
People usually don't want to hire them. And I spoke with one particular man named Cos Marte, who formerly incarcerated, served a lot of time for dealing drugs. Once he was released, he had a really hard time finding work, but he always had this vision to start his own gym. Long story short, and also quite a little bit of a spoiler, but it's totally worth to listen and hear him tell it, is that he ended up starting his own gym called Con Body, and it's based on sort of the prison workout that allowed him to lose a lot of weight while he was serving time. And then given that he's in New York City, he was able to also then open a sister cannabis dispensary called, Con Bud. And so
very clever.
Very clever. But it's funny, you go into his gym and it looks like you're entering a prison. Like the door to the studio is actually it looks like a prison door. But by that episode, we also get into policies that aren't necessarily working for people who are looking for work, who are trying to re-enter. For example, Ban the Box was a movement that was essentially created to encourage potential employers from stigmatizing potential hires, right? If they say on the box of a job application, it typically says, please check this box if you have a felony conviction or if you have a criminal record. And the assumption was that actually hinders people from getting hired after reentry, but it turns out that it's not necessarily the case, and I will leave it at that because we get into the details as to why something like Ban the Box is not effective.
Yeah, I mean, and in the episode, I just want I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I do like the fact that you spend a fair amount of time really analyzing that particular issue, because I think one of the mistakes we tend to make about change or sort of thorny political or societal problems is the idea that there are simple solutions, right? And oftentimes even simple solutions have a ripple effect. And I think that's one of the things that you really, on the one hand, you could look at this and say, well, yeah, just take that box away. Why would you ask? But you really parse all of the potential impacts about what's going to happen if you take that away, and then start exploring a whole bunch of other things that you might do and what would happen if you did that.
Right. Yeah, we worked with, there's a lot of fascinating economic data out there that there are people who are studying sort of the economic component of all this, because at the end of the day, when people cannot re-enter the workforce, and sometimes they often just end up going back to crime, right? And then the ripple effect is that you are putting somebody back into the prison system, and that's being taken from taxpayer money, and so on and so forth.
It's bad for them. It's bad for us.
It's bad for
everyone.
everybody.
Yeah. This is the Curiosity Desk. We're talking with Christina Quinn, host of a new podcast, Fighting Crime. Well, what's coming down the pike with this podcast over the coming weeks?
Well, one episode that I'm very excited about. Actually, it brought me to prison in your old stomping grounds, my friend.
Pennsylvania?
In Pennsylvania, right outside of Philly.
Oh.
Chester Correctional Facility.
Tell me more.
And so they're doing a really cool experiment there in which there's a unit called Little Scandinavia. And the idea is that this particular unit is modeled after Scandinavian prisons. And the Scandinavian prison model is very, very different. For example, there's one person to each cell. You don't have to share a cell with another person like you do typically in prisons here. And
so not solitary confinement, just your own cell.
Your own room,
yeah.
Basically your own room. There are also just like, it's a very, very different vibe. Actually, I think it's important first to sort of actually explain and really understand what a typical prison environment is like. So in general population, Gen Pop is what you would call it. I was speaking, while I was taking the tour of Chester Correctional Facility, Allison Murphy, who goes by Murph, is the assistant superintendent there. And she walked me to a general population unit just so I could get a sense of what it's like in a typical prison environment. And here's what she had to say.
So there's 128 inmates that can live on this block. It's 2 beds per cell, and it's dark. It's dingy, I guess is the way you could put it. Doesn't smell the best, but it's very busy and loud.
You gave me a warning. I'm not that offended by the smell. I was expecting worse.
I guess because of how clean we are, but also it's because it's a K2 smell, so it's like cannabinoids, so it's synthetic marijuana. That's what you're gonna smell. It's like this chemical smell. That's what that smell is.
Why is that?
Because it's what they're able to get in here. Yeah, so it's visitors that are smuggling it in for them.
Wow.
And so that's what that smell is. It's like a kind of nasty burnt smell of paper. You're not gonna smell that on Little Scandinavia.
And she's right. You don't smell it in Little Scandinavia. But it was interesting because when I did enter this unit, it was just like, the lights are bright but dim. It's like a weird. It's just not a great energy, right? All the furniture is metal and bolted to the floor. And there is one correctional officer for the entire unit. That's 128 people in one unit. So, and everyone is just sort of like on display, so like the correctional officer is watching everybody, and then the superintendent is watching the correctional officer, and it's a really tense atmosphere. And then, we walked around the corner and went to a completely different unit called Little Scandinavia. And the first thing you notice when you enter Little Scandinavia is that what I noticed was the smell of food cooking. Because they have their own kitchen.
Wow.
They actually have a kitchen, and I mean, the cooking tools, the knives, everything is locked up and you have to get permission. But I mean, so this unit has been there for about 5 years now. 5 years. Yes. They've been doing this experiment and working with Drexel University over there. And the idea is to see if a different kind of environment will do a couple of things. If it will help inmates re-enter the world more prepared. So just by cooking for yourself. A lot of these people who were serving time when they entered prison, entered when they were very young, didn't have life skills like knowing how to cook. They didn't know how to balance a budget. And in Little Scandinavia, they were doing these things. And it's really fascinating just to see sort of okay, so that's the focus, basically treating people with a level of dignity that is typically not the case in prison.
Compelling. These places, is this the kind of reporting you've done before? What how much have you learned? How have your eyes been opened in the process of doing this podcast so far?
It's funny, actually. This wasn't my first time going to prison. I actually, when I worked for GBH, I went to a penitentiary out in Billerica, and they were actually doing something pretty similar, focusing on a younger male population, sort of having a more relaxed environment. I've always been interested in sort of the machinations of criminal justice, right? But I've learned so much working on this and reporting on this with the team of producers because there's just so much that we don't understand. And I think it's because oftentimes people think, well, they committed a crime, they're in prison, not my problem, why should I care about them? But at the end of the day, 40,000 people are released from prison every year in the U.S., and those are 40,000 people who are trying to start fresh. And so if we can sort of set them up better, maybe this is one way to do it.
Okay, real quick, how many episodes? Where do I go to get it? When do they come out?
Yes, so we're gonna have 10 episodes. They're coming out every other week. Fighting crime wherever you get your podcasts.
Very nice.
Please listen, leave a review. Thanks for having me.
All right, we've been speaking with Christina Quinn, host of the brand new podcast Fighting Crime from Arnold Ventures. Check it out, as she said, wherever it is you get your podcast. Christina, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Edgar. It's great being here.
Up next, Mr. Malhotra and Mr. Venkanagari go to Washington. Two 12-year-old spelling whizzes from Massachusetts who made it all the way to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. This is the Curiosity Desk on GBH. Don't go anywhere.
Farmers, landscapers, and the hospitality industry have long complained the U.S. government doesn't issue enough guest worker visas to meet seasonal labor needs.
We've tried hiring temp workers, local workers. We have had very little success. Local workers don't want these jobs.
I'm Scott Detrow. How worker shortages have upended Louisiana's crawfish industry on the next All Things Considered from NPR News.
Today at 4, here on GBH News 89.7.
Support for GBH comes from you.
And Mass General Brigham Health Plan, providing coverage plans for individuals, families, employers, and retirees with benefits that help you live in your moment. More at massgeneralbrighamhealthplan.org.
And the Boston Speakers Series announcing its upcoming season at Symphony Hall for 7 evenings, including Pete Buttigieg, former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, historian Doris Kearns Goodwin, and former U.S. Ambassador to China Nicholas Burns. BostonSpeakers.org.
You are listening to the Curiosity Desk on GBH 89.7. I'm Edgar B. Herbert III. We are live at the Boston Public Library, and we are streaming live at youtube.com/GBH News. Well, of course, this week it was the Scripps National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. Congratulations to 14-year-old Shrey Parikh for winning top prize after an intense spell-off where he was rattling off letters at a speed I don't think I've ever seen anybody do before. I don't think anyone has. But, of course, even to make the finals is an incredible achievement in and of itself. And our next two guests from Acton and Boston were among 247. That's 247 of what started with 11 million would-be contestants, and they made it to nationals. 12-year-old Sanjay Mohatra and Ardash Venkanagari wound up in 96th and 55th place, respectively. What an incredible showing, and they are joining us together now via Zoom from our nation's capital. Sanjay, Adarsh, welcome to the Curiosity Desk, and congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how's the experience been this year down there in D.C.? How was it for you? What was it like?
Yeah, it's been great in D.C. I've got to meet a lot of new students that share the same interest in words as me.
Yeah, it's not just the competition in D.C. here. It's basically just like a whole new experience. It's meeting new people, getting exposed to new interests, and just basically it's a lot of fun.
Nice. Now, Adarsh, you are not a first-timer for the Scripps. This was your, is this correct, 4th National Spelling Bee? How old were you when this started? Were you 1 in your first Spelling Bee?
No. So my first National Spelling Bee happened in 4th grade. I was 9 years old. And then, yeah, that was my first one. So in 4th grade, that was my first year, and then 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. And then before 4th grade, in 3rd grade, I got 2nd at the regional spelling bee. And, yeah.
Nice. And Sanjay, now this is your first time, but your sister has competed in the National Spelling Bee as well. Is that right?
Yes. My sister competed last year in the National Spelling Bee.
Who did better, her or you?
Technically I did, because she tied for 100th and I tied for 96th.
So technically and actually, yeah, it sounds like you did a little bit better. Nicely done. Are you going to hold that over her for the rest of your life?
Oh, definitely.
Nice. Guys, I wonder if you could talk to me a little bit about how you prepare for something like this. Like, how much time are you each devoting to this a day? Is this like the only thing you're thinking about and the only thing you're doing?
It's not the only thing, but it definitely does take a lot of time. Like at least an hour each day, usually 2 or 3 or 4 a day. And it keeps more and more as we approach regionals and nationals. And it's not the only thing that we're like doing, I guess. But we just have to like be able to like manage our time, I guess, to get the prep in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty similar for me. I also don't spend all my time on spelling. I have other things as well, but spelling, it takes a lot of effort to learn these roots and all these different words from different languages. So it takes, at least an hour a day.
And what are you doing when you're studying, right? Like, because like on the one hand, I think people think, oh, they're spelling, they just memorize how to spell these words, but it's more than that. As you just said, like learning these roots, like, and we've talked earlier this week with Peter Sokolowski, who's one of the judges down there. And, he talked about the fact that, like, in learning words the way that spellers that compete at this level learn them, you're also learning about world history and you're learning about the history of the English language and all of that. Does that sound right? Is that kind of what the experience is like for you two? You're both nodding, so I must be onto something here.
Yeah. So like when I study, I utilize like roots and language patterns a lot. Like for example, in Greek, like the first sound it's usually a PH, and then connecting like a vowel with the schwa sound is usually an O. And then there are also like other roots like Greek photo meaning light, and you need to memorize all this because it'll help you in the national stage. First of all, you can actually ask roots, and even if like you don't like even if you couldn't, in the definition you're able to like find the you're able to find some use for the root, and it ultimately really helps you in the end.
Yeah, and to add on to Adarsh, for the first 2 rounds comes from a list called the Words of the Champions, and those that's only for the first 2 rounds. After that, it's pure dictionary. So you have to learn these roots and phonetic values to figure out the word because you can't really memorize like thousands of words in the dictionary.
Sanjay, we are right now where I'm sitting. I'm in the Boston Public Library. That's where we're broadcasting. Your faces are up on the screens here. Now, I heard a rumor you do a lot of your studying here. Is that true?
Yeah. Every weekend, me, my mom, and my sister usually come down there. And the funny thing is that at Rap Hall, which is downstairs, is actually where I had my city spelling bee.
Oh, amazing. And you won that spelling bee to go to nationals, right? How did that feel? What was that moment like?
Oh, at first, I didn't believe it. Like, I was so shocked.
Did you just go running through the library screaming and pulling books off of the shelves and going, I won, I won, I won?
No, but I had this thing with my sister because I kept saying like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so when I got home, my sister had like this counter and she told me how many times I said, oh my God.
How many did you do it?
17.
17. That's amazing. Where do you study, Adarsh?
I just study at home. I have this place, I guess, in like the family room. I like to set up with a couple of monitors and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now I hear you're also pretty skilled with pickleball racket. True? Not true?
Well, I think we're both pretty skilled. We actually plan to do a competition.
Oh, really? Why does everything have to be a competition? Can't you just learn to spell? No, you go into a competition. Can't you just play pickleball? No, you got to compete against each other.
Yeah, just from playful playing. Yeah.
No, I know. What's it like when you get up on the stage there at the nationals or even at your local spelling bees? Do you guys get nervous? Do you have advice for people who get nervous when they have to speak? Like what's it like working on that piece of it?
Yeah, I've definitely been nervous. Like every single time I step onto the stage or even think about going on the stage, I get nervous. I'm not really sure how I really get through it. It's just the first time I went onto a stage, I misspelled because I was nervous. Well, I said something which got me reinstated, fortunately, but that taught me that being nervous won't help you in the long run. Sometimes, well, yeah, but most of the time, being nervous will just like it'll get on your nerves, so to speak, and yeah, and it won't help you. And then after that, I don't know, I just like got into this zone, I guess, where I'm just like, it's okay, it's like it just like happens. I'm just like not nervous. I like know that like if I get nervous, it'll be worse than if I'm not nervous. So that like makes me not be nervous.
You're playing mind games with yourself and winning. That's pretty good. How about for you, Sanjay?
Yeah, I completely agree with Darsh. Like for me, being nervous is part of the spelling bee. And also like my mentor told me that to be calmer, you control your breaths so that you can do better in the long run. And then also a word that I'm pretty sure Darsh knows that actually means keeping cool under pressure is sang-froid.
How do you spell that? Yeah, go ahead.
Sangfroid.
And what part of speech of that is it? And from what language does it derive?
German.
Hey, when people, I think, people who watch these competitions, and I admit I do myself watch them. I really like to watch it, but I think a lot of people sometimes are a little bit. They're wondering what the contestants are doing when they are cycling over and over again through, like, can you pronounce it again? Can you give me the language of origin? Can you use it in a sentence? Like all of that kind of stuff. And sometimes they'll go through it a number of times with the pronouncer. What's the strategy behind that? Are you trying to puzzle out the word? Are you just trying to calm down and take some time? What's going on in your head when that happens?
I think it's like a mix of both of what you said. Like, for example, like when I was like in fourth grade, my first quarterfinals word was hypovolemia. I wasn't really sure what to do. But then like I just kept repeating it over and over and over, like just so I could like try to like in my head most of the times. But I'm just trying to figure out like what the roots were and how they fit into place among in the entire word. A couple of, like schwa sounds, like let's try to put it all together.
Yeah. I also agree with the Darsh, but also like the origin, the definition, and the part of speech. Like for example, they also help. Like the part of speech, for example, if it's a verb versus an adjective, that can severely affect the ending. The origin, it helps you know the roots, as well as the definition, which can help you figure out the meaning of those roots.
Now, Adarsh, my team has informed me that you have read every single Harry Potter book, which doesn't really put you in a special category. A lot of people have, but you've read them at least 8 times across the whole series, and maybe one of them 12 times. Again, is this true? This is true. This is true information. Which one did you read 12 times, and why did you read it 4 more times than the others?
I read The Goblet of Fire 12 times. I guess it's kind of I like really liked it. I'm not even now. I like don't even know why I like that one so much. I still do, but actually, I only read The Cursed Child twice. So.
Oh, okay. But that's fair enough. I don't know that everybody considers that like that really counts anyway, right?
Yeah.
And now, Sanjay, obviously you're an excellent speller, but and going to be a pickleball competitor with friend there in just a little while. But you do other competitions as well, I heard. What are some of the other competitions you do?
Yeah. So actually, soon I'm going to have a national math competition. Also, I've gone to nationals in debate, which is actually the same day as my city spelling bee.
Wait, what? So you won the spelling bee and then you had to go to a debate competition?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to miss the first 2 rounds. But
because you were winning another competition.
Yeah.
So really quick before I let you two go, do you have any advice for folks out here who are thinking they maybe want to get into the spelling bee game? What's your advice?
Well, my advice would to persevere through any challenges that you have. Like for many days, I had to study the same list like over and over again, and it was very hard. But you had to persevere to finally accomplish your goal.
Yeah, like Sanjay said, you definitely have to like put in time and effort, and you definitely have to persevere a lot, to say what he said. And just like stay calm, stay cool, just like take your time if you're on the stage, just like you'll be fine.
Gentlemen, huge congratulations. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Adarsh Venkanagari of Acton and Sanjay Malhotra of Boston about their whirlwind week at the Scripps National Spelling Bee. Again, thanks for being with me, gentlemen, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And that about does it for us for now. The Curiosity Desk is produced by Aidan Connolly, Rachel Armani, Olivia Corcio Hanneloss, Ariana Gonzalez, and Nicole Garcia. Special thanks to Bradley Lewis, Patrick Lally, and Bill Francis. Patty Daniels and Jamie Bologna check all of our spelling. Our engineer, John LaClaw Parker, and special thanks today to Andrew Massawa. Also, a huge thank you to our hosts at the Newsfeed Cafe, the fabulous team at the Lenox Hotel across the street, and, of course, all of you who came out to join us at the library today. It's great to see you in person. We will be right back on 89.7 on Monday, streaming on YouTube. If you can't wait that long, we've got the podcast version of the show you can check out. Until next time, I'm Edgar B. Herwick III. Stay curious out there.
What's trending? What's interesting? What's going on around town? We're talking all things arts and culture on The Culture Show, next on GBH 89.7.
Funding for our programs comes from you.
And Classic Harbor Line.